It is a sign of the times with college basketball during the pandemic. The puzzle pieces keep moving around, games get shifted, canceled, postponed, and so for only the second time in 26 days, Molly Miller's GCU Lopes women's basketball team take to the floor, and they take to the floor in unconventional fashion, playing the road team in their own home gymnasium. Yes, we're at GCU Arena, and yes, your Lopes are on the floor. They will battle the New Mexico State Aggies, their arch rivals, to open up Western Athletic Conference play. Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Howe welcoming you to GCU Arena in a little bit of a different format. And as I welcome my partner in crime, Kyle Borg, to the microphones, you know what? It could have been much longer. Second game in 26 days, but to be able to move this New Mexico State series up 2 weeks just so that both teams can finally get on the court and break the seal on WAC play, you can tell both of these teams will take it.
Well, yeah, ready to go. New Mexico State hasn't played since December 29th on the road at Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas. So you know New Mexico State was itching to go this week, and so were the Lopes after last week's games against Tarleton were canceled. Of course, New Mexico State last week was to take on Dixie State, but their women's team canceled the rest of their season. So a benefit for both sides, both being here in the Valley, as New Mexico State is using GCU's facilities for the remainder of the season, it looks like, because of the rules right now in their home state of New Mexico.
So New Mexico State playing in Phoenix and playing at home today against your Lopes. This should be interesting, and we're going to come back with the starting lineups and all the play-by-play. It is that arch rivalry renewed to begin WAC play between New Mexico State and your Lopes right here on GCU TV.
Anniversary of Operation Santa Claus. We've been feeding families and making kids happy for 20 years. 2020 has been tough for everyone. More kids, more families need your help this year. In celebration of 20 years, please donate $20 or bring donations to Sanderson Ford, Sanderson Lincoln, or the UPS store nearest you, and you might just win a new F-150 truck or a Lincoln Corsair. Donations benefit local charities only. For more info, go to givetotheclaus.com.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
With Kyle Borg, Jim Howe back here at the Friday matinee and the beginning of a back-to-back doubleheader as Western Athletic Conference play is going to be like the entire rest of this season. For the Lopes, they were originally supposed to open up a week ago and then got the call late Wednesday night from Tarleton State saying that they had COVID protocols. They were not going to be able to make the trip, and then they were supposed to travel to Chicago State this weekend, but Monday night they got the call from Illinois, same thing, we can't play. And next week they were supposed to have Dixie State come to town, but Dixie State has suspended their women's basketball season. They did so some 3 weeks ago. So New Mexico State, who was supposed to be their opponent 2 weeks from now, decided to help them move up the date and be able to make this happen, where New Mexico State will be the home team today and GCU will be the road team. So let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. First for the, quote, visiting Lopes, who come in with a record of 8-1 overall, and again breaking the seal on their WAC play. They'll start it off in the backcourt with Aaliyah Prince, the 3-year starter at point guard, a 5'9" junior from Barcelona, Spain, and she's joined by the lady called Nana. That's Nydasia Jackson, the grad student from Oakland, California, a 5'5" slashing guard. The 3 guard is Taylor Caldwell, who can do a little bit of everything. The redshirt sophomore and a 5'9" guard from Bakersfield, California. At the forward spot is the native of Long Beach in California, 6'1" junior Kennedy Shorts, and joining her up front is Katie Scott, who has been racking up the WAC Player of the Weeks ever since she came here from Carl Junction, Missouri, a 6'2" freshman center. Head coach Molly Miller, who rewrote the record books in becoming back-to-back NCAA Division II Coach of the Year, not once but twice. Her assistant coaches as she begins her first year is Emily Ragsdale, Buck Shield, and Karila Middlebrook. Now for the visiting and now home Aggies of New Mexico State University, who come in 2-5 overall, also breaking the seal on WAC play. They will start it off in the backfield, or in the backcourt, with Rodria Eccles. They call her Dee Dee. She's a 5'9" redshirt senior from Memphis, Tennessee. Joining her in the backcourt, Sophia Inusa, a 5'7" sophomore, and hails from Stockholm, Sweden. The 3 guard is the leading scorer on this team, Aaliyah Prince. She's done everything since coming over. She is a 5'8" redshirt senior from San Antonio, Texas. At the forward spot is Amanda Söderqvist, also from Sweden, hails from Luleå, a 5'10" senior. And rounding out the starting 5 in the middle is 6' redshirt senior Nana Sule, who hails from Abuja, Nigeria. In her 4th year, Brooke Atkinson, who's already led them to 1 WAC title and also an NCAA tournament bid. In her 4th year now as the head coach. Her assistant coach is Aisha Stewart, Deidre Brown, and former Eastern Arizona head coach Ryan McAdams. Time to get to the 3 keys to the game, and they're brought to you by Sanderson Ford. Kyle?
First key tonight, Jim, Road Warriors. Yes, that's right. You said it before. The Lopes are the visiting team here this afternoon, so we'll see what they can do on a not home floor. Second key to what's their identity. Coach Miller challenged the team this week to find their identity and to not just be a team that shoots and then goes back on defense and is just scrambling around. So let's see what the Lopes come up with to answer that challenge from their head coach. And third and finally is it's 2 track meets, Jim, not 1. Both these teams like to get up and down, and they have to play tomorrow night. So minutes, substitutions, and pace of play are going to be very big here this afternoon.
And the Lopes are already pacing. They win the opening tap, but it's Nana Jackson firing a long 3 to beat the 30-second shot clock. That's not something we've seen much from Molly Miller's squad. It doesn't go. Here come the Aggies on their initial offensive possession. Outside with the ball, Söderqvist waits for Rodria Eccles to come get the ball, but as she tries to outlet it, there's Laura Pieta with the steal. Here she comes, there she goes. Just like that, it took all of 52 seconds for the first turnover forced by the Lopes. And then in the backcourt, Nana Jackson going for the steal, got there a little late, stuck the hip out, and she'll be whistled for her first personal foul.
And that steal right there, that's why they're the nation's leaders, averaging just over 15 steals a game, and more than half their turnovers forced come off of steals.
Well, as you mentioned, Kyle, both of these teams pride themselves on their transition offense and defense, so it's going to be interesting to see how New Mexico State handles that 40 minutes of full court pressure defense by Molly Miller's squad. Inside, loose ball picked up, and then a high shot that hit the top of the backboard off of Nana Sule, and it drops through. We're tied at 2. Laura Pieta brings it to the left side for Taylor Caldwell. Lopes moving from left to right across your GCU TV screen here in the first quarter and the second quarter. Taylor Caldwell around a Katie Scott screen, throws it cross court for Nana Jackson. Shot clock at 10. Jackson double team, give it to Shorts. She's alone, and she'll bury the 12-footer, and that is definitely good news for Molly Miller and Kennedy Shorts. Quickly down is Aaliyah Prince. Wanted to get the shot off, instead changes her mind, and when she tried to outlet it, there's Caldwell again to knock it out of bounds. It'll stay Aggies basketball. So retrieving it in the tunnel is Sophia Inusa, and Eccles will inbound it with 22 seconds on the New Mexico State shot clock. Aggies in their home white, because it is a home game, trimmed in red, and the Lopes in their uncharacteristic purple uniforms, trimmed in black and white. Hook shot missed. Shorts had the inside position, gets the rebound, and then picks up a foul drawn on Nana Sule. So that is the first foul of the night, or afternoon, I should say, for the Aggies. Here come the Lopes up 4-2. Jackson and Shorts playing catch out front, wants Pieta to go inside as she hands off the ball to Taylor Caldwell. Thought about the outside shot, instead passes it up, give it off to Jackson. Jackson start to move, keeps driving on Inusa, force up a wild shot, rims around, almost dropped, and Sule is able to scoop up the garbage. Here come the Aggies with 2.5 minutes gone by. Both of these teams showing a lot more half-court sets than we're used to. Going for the steal was Jackson out front, got there just a second late, and she forces Söderqvist out of bounds, and that's immediately going to force Molly Miller to head to her bench a little bit earlier than she expected, because that's personal foul number 2 on Nana Jackson. So here comes Tiana Brown and Ben Lavaris. Kennedy Shorts will also check out of the lineup. Tiana Brown in. Tiara Brown right now kind of listed as questionable, still battling that hamstring, which has been a nagging issue since the preseason. So we're hoping we will see her at least in short stints this afternoon. Non-shooting foul. Here's Eccles with a drive. That off-balance jumper won't go in the lane. Rebound tipped around, and Prince with the alert hands and feet able to get it back. She'll drive in, draw the defense, kick it cross court. Driving is Eccles on Scott. Can she find room? No. And as she puts it up, a turnover as it'll head the other way, and it was Scott with great defense to force the miscue. A little bit of full court pressure defense, the first time we've seen that employed by the Aggies, but Pieta able to bring it up without incident. Vadas, the native of Finland, hands off to Pieta, the Spaniard. She'll put it up with the left hand and bury the 15-footer. Lada Pieta, 2 for 2 from the field.
And that's the shot you want to see Piera start hitting, that mid-range free throw line to the WAC logo jump shot that she likes so much.
Prince coming down the left side, and on the stutter step, she's bumped, goes out of bounds, wanted a foul, but because she initiated the contact, the referees let it play, and she's forced out of bounds. Another New Mexico State turnover. So Soderquist will check out of the lineup as Brooke Atkinson goes to her bench for the first time this afternoon and brings in 5'8" junior from Dallas, Jade Bradley. Bradley matching up inside on Ben Lavaris for the moment. Caldwell throws it in the corner for Lauda Pieta. Pieta drives the baseline, has it knocked out of her hands. Can she save it? No. Goes out of bounds, and it was last touched by the Lopes point guard, so it's the Aggies' turn to force the turnover. So here comes Deja Terrell. Terrell, also hailing from the Lone Star State in Dallas, Texas. She's a 6'1" grad, and she also played at North Texas. Here's Prince bringing it out of backcourt. New Mexico State off to a slow start, just 2 points in the first 4 minutes. Trying to change that was Usaa. Can't get the 3 to go, but she scrambles in, gets her own rebound, follows, can't get it to go. She'll head to the free throw line, and that will draw the ire a little bit of Molly Miller, not at the referees, but saying to her charges, where you at for the rebound?
That's a couple of second chance points for New Mexico State that they've gotten early on. First 4 minutes of this one after missing and getting their own rebound. So New Mexico State doing a good job of following their shot. The Lopes got to do a better job of finding those shooters and boxing them out.
You got to assume that for the first time in 13 days taking the floor, GCU is going to show a little bit of ring rust. But as you mentioned, Kyle, in the pregame, it's been an even longer sit down and sit out for the Aggies. So slow starts aplenty, and it's 6-4, Lopes with the ball. And here's a nice pass inside, but Brown and Vadas got tangled up, so they have to bring it back out and go to the half-court set as we move under 6 minutes left to go. Nice lob from Caldwell to Balagay, but she has her shot rejected nicely by Sule. Here comes New Mexico State the other way. Taylon Gray's also checking in, slows it up and hands it off for Rodria Eccles. Eccles off for Usaa. Usaa waits for a screen. Now Balagay covering her in a switch. Usaa sees daylight, drives through 3 different Lopes and puts it up. Nice scoop shot off the glass to tie the score at 6. That is a desperation pass by Caldwell. Somehow gets to Pieta. Here's Brown driving, but New Mexico State is back defensively. So Vadas brings it out front. Here's Balagay. Start left. Now she spins. She's called for the extra swing and a traveling violation. So suddenly, Kyle, it's the Lopes who are out of sync.
Yeah, and you know, the Lopes have seen full court presses before, but not almost similar style, and that's what New Mexico State's kind of throwing at them. And the other thing, I mean, Katie Scott's on the bench right now, but through that first 4 minutes of the game, she didn't touch the ball on offense.
Yeah, that's not something that Molly Miller wants to see. Caldwell again going for the steal. Almost looked like she was able to knock it off of Bradley. It goes out of bounds, but instead it'll stay on this side of the basketball, and that's a welcome sight. Tiara Brown getting the warm-ups off. She'll check in for the Lopes, but she'll do it after the timeout. Exactly midway through this first quarter, and we're all knotted up. It's your Lopes 6, New Mexico State 6, right here on GCU TV.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country. GCU offers 270 dynamic academic programs with modern apartment-style living, classrooms, labs, restaurants, and more. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, GCU's vibrant community and expansive campus is ranked top 20 for best college campuses in America. My university integrates the free market system with a welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout campus life, so you can put your faith into action and help transform communities. GCU campus students received over $157 million in scholarships in 2020, and many students attend GCU for less than the cost of a state university. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Admissible high school seniors can schedule a free visit from anywhere in the country. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Get the best gear to show off your Lope pride. Go to lopeshops.gcu.edu to find everything GCU, from the newest apparel to the coolest accessories. Use promo code GCUTV20 today only to get 20% off for being a GCU TV viewer. Log on and get your gear today.
Well, as you can imagine, with neither one of these teams playing since either late December or early January, depending on who you're talking about, it is a little rusty and a little ragged. 5 minutes gone by, we've seen a grand total of 12 points combined. And Kyle, that's also indicative of the fact that both of these teams want to use defense to create offense.
Absolutely, and they have similar styles going on so far early on. High pressure, lots of bodies flying around, hands all over the place. A lot of tip basketballs so far in this one.
No, New Mexico State with a chance to take their first lead. Driving inside is Eccles, but she's cut off at the free throw line. Give it off, and a hard foul bashing into Balagay was Jade Bradley. Balagay looking around saying, was that on me? And unfortunately it is, so she becomes the second Lope to hit the two-foul plateau, and we played just over 5 minutes here in quarter number one. That will be a non-shooting foul. So the Aggies will have a first 20 on the shot clock, looking to inbound way out front, and they do. Terrell gives it off for Jade Bradley. Now here's Taylon Grays. Grays back out for Eccles. Eccles runs the point, and Pieta right there next to her. 8 on the shot clock as she hands off for Usaa. Wants to drive again, but this time Vada stayed with her defensively, and it winds up dribbled off of Vadas's foot. So the Aggies get it back, but with only 5 seconds on the shot clock. Molly Miller wants to get Kennedy Shorts in, presumably to make sure Carla Balagay doesn't pick up that third foul anytime soon. So the Barcelona native heads to the bench, and Shorts on defense with 5 on the New Mexico State shot clock. Quick lob, double teamed is Terrell. She'll force up a shot, won't go, and the Lopes held serve. Here comes Tiara Brown. Long pass for Pieta. Beautiful touch pass. Finds Tiana Brown racing down. She'll lay it up and in. Beautifully choreographed fast break. Taylon Grays able to get the pass that was almost intercepted by Pieta. Quickly is Eccles all the way in, banks it up and in, and once again, the Lopes have to be ready for this transition offense by New Mexico State, because they pride themselves on being able to get the running game established just as much as GCU. Tieta Brown at the top of the key, looking, starts to drive, backs away, her first shot of the afternoon. That's too hard from about 15 feet. Long rebound comes down to Eccles. Eccles 1-on-3, she's going to challenge anyway, and Shorts, I believe, got a piece of it. Referees confer, and that will be Aggie basketball. Little bit of miscommunication. Both Browns sitting there on the baseline letting it go, unaware that Shorts had gotten a piece of it. So the Aggies get a break as Katie Scott checks back in. And as Kyle said, let's see if the Lopes work a little harder to get her involved in the offense. Eccles, quick turnaround in the lane. That's too hard. Rebound to Tiana Brown, has it knocked away in the backcourt, and her sister Tierra is able to scoop it up. Lopes still with possession. We're tied at 8. Already the third tie of the ball game, and we've only played 6.5 minutes. Glad you're with us on this Friday afternoon matinee. The beginning of a 4-game homestand if you count both men's and women's teams. Now traveling violation called on Katie Scott, and Scott looks around and says, wait a minute, that ball got knocked out of my hands. But nevertheless, it's heading the other way, and the Lopes are still pretty much out of sync offensively.
Yeah, and Terrell is playing very good defense down there on Katie Scott, not making it easy for her to make any type of a move that she's used to. And the 3-time WAC Player of the Week is getting her first test of WAC basketball.
Of course, Katie, the leading scorer by far on this team, but has had a lot of help, especially when you score 107 points like they did the last game against Park on January the 3rd. In the ball game is Grace Tholovalo, who gets it off, hands off for Prince. Now to Taylon Grays. Here's Bradley outside the arc. Give it to Tholovalu, throw it cross court. Grays is going to fire up a 3 and gets it to go. That's the first time the Aggies have been able to find the range, and also the first time they've been able to take the lead. They're up 11-8 with 2:35 left. Bullet pass somehow gets to Scott. She'll muscle it up and put it in, but they're going to wave it off, and they'll say the foul on Jade Bradley happened before the shot, which is a tough break for Scott. That was her best look at getting on the board.
Yeah, and I don't know how that pass got through 2 defenders and ended up in Katie Scott's hands, and she was able to hold on to it. That pass came in at about 100 miles an hour.
She was as surprised as anybody. So non-shooting foul. That's only the second team foul on New Mexico State here in the first quarter. Brown, hand off to Brown. Tierra to Tiana, now for Scott at the high post. Scott looks around, now dribbles to the right side, hands off for Tierra Brown. Fake, she'll put it up from the free throw line, and that one can't get the soft roll to fall. Brown 0 for 2 from the perimeter. Coming out is Tholovalu. She'll bring it all the way down the right side, keeps coming, bumps into Veras, no harm, no foul, and she'll put it up and in as Tholovalu uses all of the court to give New Mexico State a 13-8 lead. It's a 7-0 run. So the Lopes being challenged in their WAC opener, but they knew that was coming. The Aggies, one of their arch rivals in WAC play. Pieta off for Brown. Drive all the way in. Throw it up on a desperation shot. Won't go. Might have gotten a piece of it with Tholovalo. And here comes Grays the other way. Lopes have gone a couple of minutes now without scoring. Grays kick for Bradley. 3-pointer in the corner is good. And suddenly, New Mexico State's offense is on all cylinders. And Molly Miller wants to talk about it as a 10-0 run by the Aggies. And Kyle, when we talk about long established offensive runs, we're normally talking about the team that plays their home games here, not the team that's home today, New Mexico State.
Yeah, and the Lopes just, the offense isn't quite there yet, still adjusting, it seems like, to that New Mexico State style of defense. And credit Brooke Atkinson and her team, getting her team ready to play this game. They had, just under 5 days or so to prepare for Grand Canyon. But the Lopes, for a team that's coming off 82 points in the paint on January 3rd, they have 4 of their 8 so far in the paint. So that's really what they hang their hat on, is tough, hard-nosed basketball, getting in the middle of the lane, finding easy lay-ins. And, neither side is a great three-point shooting team either, but New Mexico State's 2 for 2, and they're on the season shooting 35%. So today might be one of those days for them.
Lead pass, and Scott with a lot of traffic to battle through, can't get to it, and that's another first turnover by New Mexico State. And it's usually the Lopes that we're talking about, but GCU has now committed more turnovers than New Mexico State, 4-3. So now the Lopes trying to see if they can turn defense into offense, as Tholovalo being pressured by Tierra Brown. Brown falls down. The play continues. Tholovalo now has it ripped out of her hands by Brown as they were both falling down, but they say it was last touch by Brown. So again, the Lopes not able to force the turnover. Aggies will have 21 on the shot clock and 1:10 left to go in the quarter. So inbounding is Kaylee Atkinson. Atkinson will inbound it to Deja Terrell, now for Grays. Grays has it poked away by Pieta. Pieta thought about trying to dive for it, but wisely lets it go out of bounds. And that allows 6 seconds to tick off the New Mexico State shot clock, but they'll have it just on the GCU side of midcourt. Again, Atkinson looking. Tiara Brown pressuring, has to hurry, finally gets it into Tholovalu. Tholovalu to Grays. They had numbers, but they passed it up. Now Pieta takes her defensive stance on Grays as she drives. Scissors through the defense. Give it off for Prince. Prince with the lob as she throws it outside. Both she and Tiara Brown go down. And a delayed call. That'll be an offensive foul as she crashed into Tiara Brown. And nice play by Tiara to hold her ground.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell if her heels were on that circle, but if they weren't, like the referee saw, that's an easy charge and a great take from Tiara Brown.
So that's the first personal foul on Prince. Prince leads this team in scoring at 16-4 a game, and if we were in WAC play, she'd be considered the scoring leader in the conference. Scott really in a battle with Deja Terrell inside, and finally Terrell whistled for the hold. Aggies did have a foul to give, so both teams now out of fouls, but we're inside of a minute. Pieta will inbound to the right of her own basket with 22 on the shot clock, 43.8 left to go in the first quarter. Quick inbound to Caldwell, who sprang free, and a great pass by Pieta, weaving through the traffic, and Caldwell buries the jumper. So that stops the 10-0 run by New Mexico State. Tholovalu double teamed in the backcourt, gets it up. Prince has numbers. She'll put up the shot, won't go, and the follow-up is blocked beautifully. Here come the Lopes the other way. Shot clock is off, and Caldwell trying to slow it down. Tholovalu was able to make the steal, but goes out of bounds with it. Again, as you mentioned, Kyle, they're just not used to this. They're used to this in practice where everybody is scratching and clawing at the ball, but this is probably their first opponent this year that has made a concerted effort to try and swat at every single possession.
Well, absolutely, Jim, and not just swatting at it, but using their bodies to make it more physical and trying to wear this Lopes team down, and so far it's kind of working for New Mexico State.
Lopes going for the final shot of the quarter. They have 7 seconds to do it. Pieta waiting for a Scott screen. She'll stop and pop from 15. That's too hard, and the rebound belongs to Prince, and that is the way this first quarter is going to end as Prince puts up a desperation shot from backcourt that does not go, but the Lopes in a bit of an uncharted ground as they trail by two possessions as we head to quarter number two. End of one here at GCU Arena in a road game. Yes, road game for your Lopes, and it's New Mexico State 16, Grand Canyon University 10. Keep it here for more Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, you know, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of, and the cheese, it's the exact right amount of, whew, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
We made USAA Insurance for members like Kate, a former Army medic made of the flexibility to handle whatever Monday has in store and tackle 4 things at once. So when her car got hit, she didn't worry. She simply filed a claim on her USAA app and said,
"I've got this."
USAA Insurance is made the way Kate needs it. Easy. She can even pick her payment plan, so it's easy on her budget and her life. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Jim Howe, Kyle Borg back here at GCU Arena. 10 minutes down, 30 minutes left to go. And your Lopes having to adjust to a lot of things, not just being the road team, but Kyle Borg also having to get used to looking upwards at the scoreboard and seeing that they are trailing 16-10 to New Mexico State. Also having to get used to one other thing that Molly Miller prides herself is getting extra shots. But right now, the Lopes only have 14 attempts, and they're only shooting 43% from the field. They've got to get that up.
Well, yeah, they haven't taken a whole lot of shots. Just 12 here so far, and 5 of 12 shooting. And most of their baskets have been layups with a couple of jump shots from Piera and Shorts. But the Lopes, now they've seen New Mexico State. You got the first 10 minutes out of the way. Make those in-game adjustments that the Lopes are so good at making, and they'll be in a good spot moving forward.
And Prince, as she tries to drive, is double teamed, and the quick hands by Katie Scott able to force it. And that'll be a held ball, sending it the other way, and the Lopes can use a few more of those type of plays. That's one thing that the Lopes have been the last 3 or 4 minutes, is kind of on their heels. They have not been able to employ the full court pressure defense because they haven't been able to make shots, and it's kind of taken them out of their defensive game as much as it's taken out of their offense. Taylor Caldwell off for Pieta. Drives the baseline, has to throw it opposite corner for Tiana Brown. Doesn't want the shot. Off for Katie Scott. Scott not being able to get going so far. She still has a donut in the scoring column. We haven't said that in a while. Kick for Caldwell. Open look in the corner for 3, and that couldn't have come at a better time. And now the Lopes able to use that transition defense. Caldwell getting in the face and throwing it away is Eccles. Turnover. Lopes have it with a chance to cut this to possibly 1 or even tie it. Caldwell in for Pieta. Aaliyah Prince with the defensive assignment in the backcourt. And now Caldwell takes it to the left side with the dribble. Kaylee Atkinson covering her. Trying to fight around a Katie Scott screen. Caldwell will stop and pop. That's in and out from 14. Trying to keep it alive is Brown. Scramble on the floor, and Kaylee Atkinson comes out with it for New Mexico State. Lead pass for Prince. Prince will drive in the lane. Kick it in the corner. Open look. Eccles for 3, but that's short. And the rebound tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Shania Harper, who just checked in for New Mexico State. Now they changed the call. She and Tiara Brown went up on a 50-50, and they now say it was last touch by the Lopes freshman forward. So New Mexico State gets a break, and Eccles looking to inbound. Looking, waiting, throws it way out front for Aaliyah Prince. Prince has also been quiet, the leading scorer on the season, yet to get in the scoring column. Trying to change that here, and gets the soft roll off the back of the iron, Aaliyah Prince. 18-13, Aggies with the lead. Lopes with the basketball, just trying to work on the offensive patience. Pieta outside the arc, one-handing the ball. Tiara Brown comes to get it, top of the key. 14 on the Lopes shot clock. Lobs it outside the arc for Caldwell. They clear out the side, and that allows Caldwell to drive all the way in for the lay-in, and TC starting to get warmed up. Here's a lead pass, but the Lopes are able to get back defensively, so Usaa has to back it out. Lopes trying to swing the momentum their way, and they've come out firing, scoring 5 of the first 7 points of the quarter. Now Pieta able to intercept. One hands it to herself. Gets it for Tiara Brown. 1-on-2. She'll challenge. She'll score. And suddenly the home contingent getting something to cheer about as the Lopes are back within a point. Prince driving all the way in, has it poked away. Tiana Brown poked it away. Tiara Brown the steal. Back to Tiana. Fake shoot, knocked out of her hands, but she's knocked down and fouled. And suddenly the momentum has shifted in a heartbeat.
And a couple of great defensive possessions from the Lopes, getting a couple back-to-back steals. They went to what looked like a 2-3 zone for just a moment, which that Piera steal came off of, and then Tiana Brown on that last one getting fouled. I'd like to see her go straight up with that one and just go up strong, hit the layup, and possibly you get that and one because you know she's coming in from behind and with more than enough space, but that forces a New Mexico State timeout.
So the foul called on Didi Eccles. That is her first. So far, New Mexico State does not have anyone with more than 1 foul. The Lopes got into early foul trouble with Jackson and Balagay. We have not seen them since, but you can tell, Kyle, whatever Molly Miller said in that huddle at the end of the first quarter made a difference, because it's not just the fact that the Lopes have scored 7 points in 2.5 minutes. You can just tell there's a renewed energy and fire.
Yeah, whatever she said really got her team going. Wish I knew what she said in the huddle.
Bottle it up.
But whatever it was and whatever adjustments that this staff has made so far in the first 2.5 minutes of this quarter has been really well done. And we'll see what adjustments you have to make now, because now Brooke Atkinson and her staff are going to make some adjustments, you know, being up just 1, and Brown can put them up put GCU up by 1 if she can hit both free throws.
The proverbial ball is now in the Aggies' court. Want to remind you that despite the fact that the scheduled opponents could not make it, we do have 4 different games happening over the next 30 hours here at GCU Arena. Coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, it is Bryce Drew's men's team who broke the seal on WAC play last weekend in Texas by taking a pair from the newcomers from Tarleton State. They'll be here for a non-conference affair against the team from Anaheim, California, Bethesda University. And we will have that for you not just on Fox 10 Extra, but also on the stream. Kate Longworth with the pregame show at 6:30. Barry Buttel and Scott Williams with the call at 7 o'clock, and we will have it for you. Paul Coro and I will have it for you on radio, 1580 AM The Fanatic, as well as 99.3 FM with the pregame show at 6:45 and tip-off at 7 o'clock. And then they flip it around tomorrow. We'll have the men facing Bethesda at 2 p.m., and we'll be right back here at 6:55 with the pregame show as these two teams will finish off the 2-game set. Tomorrow night, again, all of this right here at GCU Arena as Brown puts up the first free throw and misses. That's the first free throw of the game for Grand Canyon. Brown with another chance to tie. And the free throw in and out. Not good. So it's still a 1-point edge for the Aggies. They have the basketball. Tholovalo pushing the ball up, gives it off for Kaylee Atkinson. Atkinson hands it to Eccles. She has her shot rejected beautifully by Tiara Brown. Now the Lopes want to push. Brown to Caldwell. Cross-court Pieta. Good ball movement by GCU. Tiara Brown wanted to cut inside, but instead has to come back out with the dribble. Give it to Pieta. Lopes with a chance to take the lead for the first time in a while. In the corner, Shorts. Out front, Tiara Brown. Will she take the 3? No. Give it to Pieta. She'll drive. Has it knocked out of her hands. Goes right to Brown. Now to Caldwell for 3! Taylor Caldwell spearheading this turnaround, and now she makes the steal. Off for Tiara Brown. Fake. Doesn't want the shot. Now the Lopes go back into the half-court set with the lead back as they've gone on a 10-2 run to start this second quarter. Back to the basket. Brown turns around. Has it knocked away. Good hands by Eccles. Can she force the steal and complete it? No, it's a held ball, but the possession arrow will send it New Mexico State's way. So the Lopes for the moment, with the lineup of Taylor Caldwell, Kennedy Shorts, Lada Pieta, and Tiana and Tiara Brown. And just as I say that, then Levatas will send Tiara Brown to her first breather. As we mentioned, we weren't quite sure how much Molly Miller was going to get out of her star forward as Brown continuing to battle that hamstring injury. So here comes New Mexico State with the ball. Grace Tholovalo gives it off for Eccles. Eccles. Low pass for Atkinson. Nice spin move. Shot first, not good. Second one, also not good by Deja Terrell, both at point-blank range. Here come the Lopes, and suddenly it's the Aggies who are out of sync. Now Caldwell wants to back it out. Grace Tholovalo with the defensive assignment on her. Caldwell playing keep away, and now a whistle. And Tholovalo a little bit too over-aggressive, trying to force that steal, will pick up the personal foul. Jade Bradley into the Aggies lineup. Katie Scott back into the Lopes lineup. And we have now played 14 minutes, and Katie Scott still does not have a point. Let's see if the Lopes try and change that here. Pieta lobbing over the top. There's Scott. The catch, the shot won't go. A little bit off balance, and I think she was expecting there was going to be company if she didn't get the shot up. So the Aggies come down trailing by 2. Eccles on the drive. Spin. Did she travel? Yes, she did. Caldwell got to the spot first and forced the turnover the other way. So Brooke Atkinson with a frustrated look on her masked face, calling out instructions and trying to get a combination that'll work. As New Mexico State with only 2 points in this first 4 minutes plus of the second quarter, and they have lost their 6-point lead. Caldwell, free throw line to Vadas. Still looking in for the lob to Scott. Can't get it to her for the moment. Pieta off for Tiana Brown. Still plenty of time to get a shot off, but now it's Brown and Pieta out on the perimeter and not in sync themselves, and it's thrown away. So the Aggies will get the basketball back. And coming in is Taylor Donaldson for the first time today, the New Perry Park, California native and a 5'10" freshman. Wearing number 35, for those of you who are watching and are New Mexico State fans, a couple of the players did not bring their home jersey or not bring their correct home jerseys, and so Donaldson wearing number 35 and Deja Terrell, who's in there, wearing number 24. Steal out front by Pieta. Caldwell able to reel it in. Give it off for Pieta. Cross court, Tiana Brown. Fake the three. Start to drive. Give it to Scott. Scott now for Pieta. Midpoint of this second quarter has been a good one so far for the Lopes. As Scott gets the ball, wisely does not bring it down, and that forces the Aggies to foul. That'll be the first foul of the afternoon on Taylor Donaldson, and that is team foul number 3 on New Mexico State in the quarter. Aaliyah Prince got a brief breather on the New Mexico State bench. She'll check back in. Tholomalu heads to the Pine after giving Atkinson some Yeoman minutes. Fresh 20 on the shot clock for GCU as they lob it out front for Katie Scott. Right in her face is Nana Sule. Scott stop, give it off for Ven Levadas. Levadas now for Caldwell straight away. She'll split the defense, keeps on coming, and they say Prince was able to get a hand on the ball. That'll be a held ball. Fortunately for the Lopes, the possession arrow favors them. No reset on the shot clock, so the Lopes will inbound underneath with 10 seconds to get a shot off. Pieta looking, waiting. Nobody moving, better hurry, and doesn't get it in. 5-second call. And the Lopes another turnover. Already that is 11 on GCU. So the Aggies trying to take advantage. Here comes Anusa straight down the middle. Lopes get back defensively. Anusa being hounded by Tiana Brown. Out front, here's Donaldson. Donaldson at 4.5 left to go before the half, trying to tie as the Lopes have run off 10 of the first 12 points of the quarter. Prince inside, has it knocked away. Vadas got part of the ball, but according to the refereeing crew, got part of the arm, and that'll be the first foul on the junior from Vanta. That is the first team foul of the quarter, and it comes with 4:27 left. So a non-shooting foul. Bradley gets it on the side. Here's Nana Sule. And for Donaldson, who will back it out. 15 to get a shot off. Pieta anticipating the screen. Fights around it. Left-handed shot put up and missed, but the rebound comes back out. Aggies with another try. Anusa back out for Donaldson. Takes a glance at her head coach and almost lost the ball. Caldwell going for the steal. Almost came up with it. 10 on the shot clock. Driving is Donaldson. Throws it in the corner. Here's Anusa weaving through traffic and then travels with the basketball. Looked like she might have turned an ankle and took the extra step to try and get her balance, but it'll send it the other way. Still only 2 points scored by the Aggies in the first 6 minutes of the second quarter after scoring 16 in quarter number 1. Aggies back off as Pieta brings it across that GCU logo here at midcourt. Again, the Lopes, the road team for this series. This was originally supposed to be played in Las Cruces 2 weeks from now. Shot by Caldwell, not good, but Scott keeps it alive for Vadas. Lopes with another try. Lob in for Scott, knocked away, but it hits the glass, goes right back to Katie. She'll put it up and in, and finally, the pride of Missouri able to get in the scoring column. Quickly is Anusa. Lopes back defensively, so no transition able to work for New Mexico State this time. Here's a backdoor pass for Prince. Crashes into Scott. Scott goes down. No harm, no foul. And Prince spins around and buries the baseline jumper. Second field goal of the quarter. And both of them coming from Aaliyah Prince for New Mexico State. 22-20. Lopes on top as we near the 3-minute mark of this second quarter. And the Lopes trying to keep the momentum on their side. Scott, high post for Lauda Pieta. Now Katie comes to set a screen. Pieta fights through, keeps coming, and wave off the shot. Traveling violation called on Pieta, and Pieta looking at her coach saying, did I? So New Mexico State's going to get it back. Lopes have only been able to force 7, make it 8 turnovers. So with 2:52 left, Lopes getting set as Kennedy Shorts checks in for Katie Scott to pressure full court. Bradley gets it in for Prince. And Tiara Brown back in there to pressure as she knocks it away. Now Prince gets it back, drives, keeps coming, throw it in the corner, and Usaa square and fire for three, got it. And the weak side help came, but there was nobody left to cover number 11, and the Aggies get the lead back at 23-22. Brown and Shorts out front. Now for Lada Pieta. Vadas, they have not been able to get her involved in the offense yet as she stops the dribble out front. Give it to Pieta. Pieta waiting for a Kennedy Shorts screen. She's able to drive through it, but she didn't come close enough to her. And Usaa, as she fought through it, Shorts moved. That'll be an offensive foul on the Lopes starting power forward. So with 2:14 left, Bradley will inbound it in backcourt. Shorts with kind of a disgusted look on her face as she covers the inbound. Nana Sule gets it off for Taylor Donaldson, and Donaldson being pressured every step of the way by Tiana Brown. Gets it for Prince. Drive the baseline, tried to cut through two defenders, and it's knocked away. Bodies on the floor everywhere, and that likely is a held ball, but the Aggies have the possession arrow. Scratching and clawing on both sides of the floor, and that's why we've got a low-scoring game, at least compared to what GCU's been used to. Out front, Usaa with the inbound. Now for Bradley. Bradley drive on Vadas. Venla cuts her off. Bradley gets it back out front. Usaa drive. Has it knocked away by Pieta, but Usaa alertly gets it back, puts it up and in. That is a heady play by the sophomore from Stockholm. 25-22, and New Mexico State has quietly put together a 7-0 run to take the lead back. Brown stop at the free throw line. Give it to Pieta. They left her alone, but the three-pointer won't go. Rebound. Brown had it, but didn't have the inside position. That will cost her a loose ball foul. Kyle, some frustrated looks on the faces of GCU right now.
Well, absolutely, Jim. I'm a little what's the word I'm looking for? Flustered up here,
Flustered.
I guess, is what I was looking for. I didn't necessarily see a push-off or an over the back on that one, and neither did Coach Miller. And the last couple possessions, the calls just haven't gone the Lopes' way, but they've responded decently well on the other end.
And Usaa has been the spark plug. She has 9 points. Hands off to Prince, and the Lopes with a defensive breakdown got away with it as Prince misses the layup. But as the rebound's tipped out of bounds, Molly Miller jumping up and down, saying, why is that not our possession? And apparently it is.
I think she was wanting the over-the-back call on that one, coming over the back of Veris to knock that out of her hand. I think she was asking, why isn't it the same on this end as it is on Tierra on the other end?
3-man officiating crew of Brad Schmidt, Lee Millen, and Jess Martinez. And it has been a physical game, and they have had to work very hard to try and keep it under control. Shorts will check out. Molly Miller wants Ven Lavares to inbound as New Mexico State will press. 69 seconds left to go in this back-and-forth first half. Scott, will she bring it out of backcourt? Sure she will. She'll hand off for Tiara Brown, now for Pieta, and Pieta will give it off for Scott. So Scott right now running the point. Comes around a Pieta screen. Off for Tiana Brown, out for Pieta, fake the three, drive around the defender, and is called for traveling again. And again, Molly Miller looking around saying, was that really a traveling violation?
I'm not sure Laura Piera can do much else. That's a great pump fake and a one-dribble step into that jump shot she likes.
So they are holding tight on those traveling violations. And New Mexico State still with the lead, and now the basketball with 40 seconds left. Here's Eccles, drive in, running one-hander, off the glass and in. That's the second time today that Eccles has been able to use the glass to benefit her. She has 4 points, and New Mexico State in the midst of a 9-0 run. About a half a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so the Lopes are going to wind it down as much as they can. Pieta off for Vadas. Vadas with 12, now with 11. Tiara Brown straight away. They keep looking in for Scott, but they can't find Katie. Pieta, cross court for Tiana Brown. Square and fire for three, misses everything. Rebound out of bounds. Lopes will have it. 2.4 seconds left to go on the game clock, and because that ball did not draw iron, they have just 1 second to get it off. So Molly Miller will get Taylor Caldwell back in. Let's see who's going to inbound it. I think it's going to be Pieta. Now she backs away, so instead it'll be Caldwell. Again, quick inbound for Scott. It's poked away, and that will force the 30-second shot clock violation. So good defense by the Aggies. Half a second left on the clock, and that's the way this one's going to end. So a first half of runs. The Lopes, especially in this quarter, using a 12-2 run to take a 4-point lead, and then they give up the last 9 points of the second quarter and will head into the halftime locker room as the road team and as the team trailing. Hope you'll stick around. We've got our halftime show coming back, and we are going to talk about a huge announcement, one of the biggest announcements of the week as far as the sports scene is concerned, both locally and nationally. So we hope you'll stick around for that as we have reached the halftime intermission here at GCU Arena in a road contest for your Lopes. Don't ask. The score, New Mexico State 27, Grand Canyon University 22. Stick around for more right here on GCU TV.
When you have the urge to play outside, Tire Pros wants to get you there, offering convenience, selection, and our national roadside assistant. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
While you explore our country, let Community Tire Pros be part of your journey. We're here to give everyone something to look forward to. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
From reimagining the way you work to reassessing what you need, you've changed the way you do business. And now, so have we. With no annual contracts and flexible internet and voice solutions, you'll have what you need to get back to business. Rethink, reconnect, reimagine. Switch to Cox Business today.
Back here at halftime at GCU Arena in the heart of the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, the first of 4 games played on this floor over the next 30 hours between men's basketball and women's basketball. I want to remind you, coming up tonight at 7 p.m., it's Bryce Drew's team, fresh off a 2-game sweep to open up WAC play against Charlton last weekend. They will go back into non-conference play. They'll take on Bethesda University out of California. 6:30 with the pregame show on Fox 10 Extra, and 6:45 with the radio pregame on 1580 The Fanatic, and tip-off for both at 7 p.m. again. That is tonight here at GCU Arena. Well, 27-22 is what we're looking at on the scoreboard. New Mexico State on top of GCU. And New Mexico State and GCU, two of the powers in this Western Athletic Conference. And Kyle, they're going to get some friends all of a sudden. A huge announcement yesterday in Houston, Texas.
The WAC is expanding. 13 teams. I believe that goes into effect July 1st of 2022. So another year before we get Lamar, Sam Houston State, Abilene Christian, and Stephen F. Austin and Southern Utah coming over. So we've basically taken over the state of Texas as a conference.
Yes, they have. In fact, the Southland Conference, we go for the WAC goes from 9 to 13 in the Southland Conference because they lose those 4 teams, goes from 13 to 9, and Southern Utah comes over from the Big Sky. So a lot of now you see an awful lot of things going on. In fact, they're going to break this into 2 different divisions with the teams in Texas in their own division, and then the rest of the teams. And you notice Chicago State not on that list, so they will be kind of heading out. They will be heading elsewhere for 2021-22, and so you see the alignment, you see the teams. Now let's hear from the parties involved as to just how excited they are about this.
This is an exciting time for Grand Canyon. It's really a big deal for the WAC, bringing in some of these very established programs, the new schools, and so it's going to be a tougher conference. And that's good. I think we want to compete with the best that we can compete with. So from my standpoint, this is a big day for Grand Canyon University.
The conference that we've put together is, I believe, a conference that can compete against the Power Five. And when you look at NCAA athletics, the Power Five and the rest of the mid-major conferences, there's a growing separation. Our goal was to build a conference that could be competitive as a mid-major conference with those Power Five conferences. That's a big challenge, but I think this conference can do it. We wanted a conference put together where the population growth of the country was happening. And we're going to be primarily located in states where the population is going to be growing and where the economies are going to be strong and there's going to be support for athletics. It brings football back to the WAC. And for a lot of schools, that makes sense. If you look at football schools at the FCS level, typically they have 50 or 100 years of history. They've got alumni who are donors who, for them, football is very important. GCU is different. We don't have a history of football, but we are building something special in basketball. And so we will continue to be a basketball school in the vein of Gonzaga, of Creighton, of Marquette, those schools that have excelled and built a reputation and a name for themselves in basketball.
Crunch some numbers here. If we were to take the current teams in the WAC now, the past 3 years, our RPI increases by 45. That's huge. We always go back to the student athlete and what's the best experience for the student athlete. I think we've put a premier conference together to give them that best experience. I'll let you guys in on it. About 10 minutes after this, I'm going to go call some high-level Texas recruits because we're recruiting in Texas right now. And the fact that I get to tell them, hey, we're going to frequent your home state. We're going to visit often right in your backyard. I think that's huge for the recruiting footprint of GCU and all our programs.
Every school that we brought in has been in the NCAA tournament in the last 2 decades. And if you go to Stephen F. Austin, they've won multiple games in the tournament. And where does this help GCU? Well, it's one thing to get to the NCAA tournament, which is a very, very special opportunity. It's another thing to be positioned to have a good seed so you can win and so you can advance. And the addition of these 5 schools with the addition of what we already have in the WAC, we're really hopeful that our net rankings as individuals will all go up and our conference will all go up.
But from a baseball standpoint, getting to go into Texas, you look at in the minor league baseball and in Major League Baseball, the 3 states that have the most playing professional baseball now are California, Florida, and Texas. And so that tells you right there that the talent pool is huge in the state of Texas, obviously. That's exciting. So the fact that we can get into Texas, recruit, and tell a young man and his family that we'll be back. We'll be back to play 3 or 4 games here in your home state so your family and your friends can watch. That's exciting for a young man and their family. The RPI is going to be stronger. That's always a goal. Right now, typically in the WAC, It's a one team can get to a regional, and that's the team that wins the WAC tournament. Now with these teams, with their history of success in D1 baseball, now there's a strong possibility that it'll be possibly 2 or 3 teams will get an at-large bid into a regional tournament.
We made USAA Insurance for members like Kate, a former Army medic made of the flexibility to handle whatever Monday has in store and tackle 4 things at once. So when her car got hit, she didn't worry. She simply filed a claim on her USAA app and said,
"I've got this."
USAA Insurance is made the way Kate needs it. Easy. She can even pick her payment plan, so it's easy on her budget and her life. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
As a kid, I always dreamed of being a Division I athlete. GCU supported that dream, and they also allowed me to get an education. So when I came to GCU, I was able to transfer enough credits in to fast track my education. So I graduated in 3 years with a master's, and I did it debt-free because I had athletic and academic scholarships. I'm Mackenzie, and I earned my MBA from Grand Canyon University.
There's thunder in all of us. Come find your purpose at Grand Canyon University.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, you know, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... Whew, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Yeah. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions gift collection.
Now I'm so happy.
Waning moments of halftime. Team's about to come back on the floor for their final warm-ups before the second half. New Mexico State with a 9-0 run to finish out that second quarter, leading GCU 27-22. And it's time to take a look at the Copper State halftime stats, brought to you by Copper State Credit Union, the way insurance should be. And you look at those numbers, and some of that is, some of that's a little deceiving, especially considering, you need to flip those because GCU, and we're getting used to it just as much as everybody else, GCU is not the home team today because this was originally a doubleheader that was supposed to be played in Las Cruces. So flip those numbers, and you've got New Mexico State shooting 45%, GCU shooting 42%, and then you also look at the steals, which is something that has to jump off the page, I think, for Molly Miller, by the fact that GCU has 1 steal.
Well, the Lopes have 6. Switch it again.
Well, that's
Switch
true.
it, yeah,
You're
6.
right.
The
Switch
Lopes
it again.
have 6.
Yeah.
New Mexico State with
But that's
1.
still very low
Considering,
for the Lopes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They forced 12 turnovers that you saw, but they've also given up 11 back to New Mexico State. And the one that's really standing out and why New Mexico State has a 5-point lead right now, and it could be more, is the fact that they are out-rebounding GCU 19-9, and the Lopes, I've been waiting to use this analogy for a while, Jim. They got to rebound in bulk. It's like going to Costco. You got to rebound in bulk.
You've been waiting to use that.
I've been waiting to use it. I don't know when I came up with it, but I've been waiting to use it for that specific purpose. But it's like you got to go, everybody's got to attack, and there are enough purple jerseys in the paint when the shot goes up. It just seems that New Mexico State is out jumping and just wants that rebound just a little bit more than the Lopes at the moment, and that's why they have a 5-point lead and a 10-point rebound margin currently. And
I'm sure one of the things that was probably the talk of the town in both locker rooms, not just GCU's but New Mexico State, is the stat line of one Katie Scott. 2 points, 1 for 2 from the field, no rebounds, 1 assist. Now we know that Katie Scott has certainly been somebody who rallies in the second half, but I'm sure Molly Miller expected her to have a much more impressive stat line at halftime than that.
Yeah, and credit the Aggies and Brooke Atkinson for their game plan. I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume the way they're playing defense on Katie Scott, that was their game plan. Come in and shut her down, and the rest will follow. And the Lopes, she's gotten help from Taylor Caldwell. She's got 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting, which is good. And like you mentioned, Katie Scott, a second-half player so far this season for the Lopes, so expect that. And, you know, it's her first conference game as well.
Absolutely.
In a Lopes uniform. So adjusting to that WAC style of basketball that she's going to see night in and night out, it's kind of like the comparison for Alessandro Laver going into his sophomore year after that breakout WAC season his freshman year. He had to adjust. So Katie Scott's getting that a little bit earlier, and I think that's going to benefit her as we wind down this season and into her career moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. And you got to assume the WAC teams have had 2 months to watch what Katie Scott has been doing, and they've had 2 months to kind of scout it. Well, it's time to take a look at the upcoming schedule, and it's brought to you by Commonwealth Insurance, the way insurance should be. Kyle?
So we mentioned it a little bit earlier, doubleheader tonight. The men will take the court at 7 o'clock against Bethesda. Back here again tomorrow, the men at 2 o'clock, and the women will be back here again against New Mexico State at 7, and then they will, at least the men will hit the road the following week to Dixie State, and of course these women of GCU women's basketball looking to fill those games currently that were scheduled to host Dixie State next weekend.
So here we go. Lopes with the basketball. They're trailing by 5. They have trailed by as many as 8. They've led by as many as 4. Here is Nana Jackson trying to welcome herself back after going to the bench with 2 early personals and staying on the bench for the remainder of the half. Can't get the shot to go. Aggies can't get their initial shot to go, but Katie Scott loses the rebound. And now a traveling violation, and Usaa was able to bring it down, but then as she tried to play keep away from Katie Scott, she dragged that back foot. And as we've seen in the first 20 minutes, Kyle, the referees are calling traveling very tight.
Yeah, got their eye on those pivot feet for each side, as you saw that one. Usaa just couldn't quite keep it from dragging. She thought she could get away with one, but unfortunately she did not for the Aggies.
So here's Katie Scott out to Lotta Pieta as the Lopes try to get within 1 possession again. Pieta keep the dribble going outside, lob to the cutting short. She'll fake, go underneath, put up the shot, won't go. It goes out of bounds, and it will stay Lopes basketball, but it looked like there was a lot of contact when Shorts was going up for that shot.
Yeah, got the defender in the air and just got, I guess, underneath her just enough to avoid a foul and almost hit the reverse, but the Lopes will get the inbound with 7 left to shoot.
That ball did not draw iron, so here's Shorts in from Scott. She'll drive again, but it has it stripped away. Prince picks her pocket, and then Caldwell looked like she got the steal, but instead it'll be a backcourt foul, and Caldwell just quietly goes over and hands the ball back to the referee. That is TC's first foul of the night.
Yeah, after that initial reach, couldn't quite get to the ball, and the offensive player was right there to get up in Taylor Caldwell, and she just couldn't reach around the body enough to get a piece of the ball.
So New Mexico State with a lineup of Sophia Usaa, Rodria Eccles, Aaliyah Prince, Amanda Soderquist, who gets the shot and puts it up from 3. That one won't go. Scott able to tap the rebound to Lotta Pieta. Pieta wants to run. Cross court for Caldwell. She's been hot, and she continues as she buries the baseline jumper. So 27-24, Lopes strike first blood. 1.5 minutes gone by here in quarter number 3. Nana Sule rounding out that starting 5, who started both halves for New Mexico State. Sule sets a screen for Usaa, who gets the ball, gives it out for Soderquist. Her first shot won't go, but the rebound belongs to Aaliyah Prince. She'll jump it up over Pieta and get it. And Prince, who's been quiet, makes the shot. That is her 3rd field goal. Prince now 3 of 6 from the field, and it's 29-24, Aggies on top. Keep in mind, in this building, even though the Lopes are considered the road team here, they've won the last 3 games between these two. Here's Pieta on the drive. Little running one-hander, no. Scott with the follow won't go, but this time the contact made and the foul is called. That'll be whistled on starting center Nana Sule. That is her 2nd. And let's see, they should give Katie Scott continuation since it was a quick catch and shoot. So she heads to the line. Sule heads to the New Mexico State bench.
That's just a tough rebound by Katie Scott. Put herself in a great position. And with as tall as she is at 6 foot, she just reached over top, grabbed that ball, and was able to draw the foul.
Well, and I think the freshman now knows, after getting pinballed around for 20 minutes, that those are the kinds of rebounds she's going to have to hang on to because the contact's going to come and the referees are letting them play. Scott's first free throw of the night is good. Next one not, but there's Tiara Brown, sneaks in, follows and scores. Beautiful play by Tiara, and that's the kind of hustle that Molly Miller needs. Down to a 2-point New Mexico State lead. Eccles brings it across the time stripe. New Mexico State moving from left to right here in this second half across your GCU TV screen. Steal by Scott on the floor, lead pass for Pieta, but coming back is Bradley, able to knock it out of her hands. They're going to call a foul on Bradley. And let's see, it looked like they initially said it was a shooting foul, and Pieta indeed is going to back up to the charity stripe and give the Lopes the chance to tie.
And I think Coach Atkinson wants an explanation on whether, if not, that should have been on the floor. I couldn't quite tell. She gathered, but I'm not sure she had enough momentum going to the basket to really call that a shooting foul, but it benefits the Lopes, and they're 1 point away now from tying this one up here early in this third quarter.
Molly Miller says thank you very much as the southpaw point guard ties the ball game. Only the 5th time we've been tied today, and now a foul is called. Pushing foul inside. That'll be called on Jade Bradley. That is her 3rd, and that's going to give the Lopes the basketball back.
Free possessions on turnovers that you don't have to force. I'm not sure that one goes down as a turnover, but it's nonetheless a free possession for GCU, and they got to take advantage of it.
And try and take the lead back. Brown cross court for Pieta and put too much mustard on it. It's over the outstretched arms of Lauda, out of bounds. So the Lopes right now with a lineup of Tiara Brown, Taylor Caldwell, Nana Jackson, Lauda Pieta, and Katie Scott. Kaylee Atkinson comes into the Aggies lineup to inbound, does so to Deja Terrell. Now for Atkinson, back for Terrell. Terrell, the grad student's been quiet off the bench, has not been able to get in the scoring column. Here's Eccles, scoop it for Inusa. Inusa double team for a moment, gives it in the corner. Driving is Eccles, puts up the shot, that's flat. Off the back of the iron, and Scott races to get the rebound. 2-on-2 the other way. Caldwell to Jackson, shot will not go. Rebound tipped by Caldwell, out of bounds. And Caldwell, I think, was trying to tip it to Jackson when she saw that there were 2 people surrounding her. Time out on the floor, 6:52 left to go, third quarter, and the Lopes trying to swing the momentum as they have opened up this quarter on a 7-2 run. New Mexico State 29, GCU 29, right here on GCU TV.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country. GCU offers 270 dynamic academic programs with modern apartment-style living, classrooms, labs, restaurants, and more. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, GCU's vibrant community and expansive campus is ranked top 20 for best college campuses in America. My university integrates the free market system with a welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout campus life, so you can put your faith into action and help transform communities. GCU campus students received over $157 million in scholarships in 2020, and many students attend GCU for less than the cost of a state university. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Admissible high school seniors can schedule a free visit from anywhere in the country. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Are you looking for the right place to help advance your education? GCU has all the right tools and programs to help you find your purpose. For more information on what Grand Canyon University has to offer or to enroll, visit gcu.edu.
So with 6:52 left, the Lopes have caught up again. The 4th time we've been tied. We've also had 4 lead changes. And so far, the middle quarters, Kyle, we've had kind of the same trend. The Lopes get out to a quick start. Now the Lopes, after giving up a 9-0 run to end the second quarter, have got to be able to maintain this pace, this focus, and this intensity.
Well, that's exactly what they have to do. And they've had a couple of these grind it out lower scoring games before, not as low scoring as we have here today, but if you remember Loyola Marymount and Northern Arizona, those were both wear them down until the third, fourth quarter, and then jump out, get on your run, and eventually win by 10-plus points.
Lopes made the Aggies work to get it out of back court, but then as Prince drives across the lane, she's pushed and fouled. That foul called on Taylor Caldwell. That is 2 on her. It'll be a non-shooting foul. And New Mexico State has it out front, and Jackson almost looked like she forced the turnover. She got a paw on it, and it almost looked like it went off of Usaa, but instead the Aggies will get the ball back with 19 on the shot clock. So again, the Lopes starting to show some quicker legs, and now the pass thrown away. Stumbling was Usaa, tracking it down, Jackson off to Brown, and she has it knocked away. Beautiful play that time. At the last minute, Eccles came out of nowhere. Lopes will get it back.
Great hustle by both sides, as you saw Usaa trip over her own player on the inbound, and Jackson ran it down, and then a great block from behind by Eccles.
Here's the spin by Brown. Put it up, put it in, score it, count it, foul, send her to the free throw line. Brown working one-on-one to perfection. She'll have the chance for the three-point play.
Well, what can Brown do for you?
You've been waiting to use that for a while, haven't you?
Well, just a little bit. But, hey, Tiara Brown having a great game in what maybe could be limited minutes. We're not sure, really, but she's played very well here today.
Now it looks like a lane violation. And I think maybe they're going to go.
Or they're going to go, look, maybe.
They're calling a technical foul now on Eccles, I do believe. So Eccles apparently did not like the call, and she was obviously, whatever she said, it was vocal because she was already to the Aggies bench by the time she said something. So now the Lopes with a golden opportunity to really get some room and swing the momentum officially. That's the first technical of the ball game. And it comes with 6:27 left in the third. Brown goes to the line. The free throw not good.
So Brown was shooting her and one free throw.
Yeah.
So Scott's going to shoot the technicals, which is a good call considering she is 80% and the best free throw shooter on this team so far this season.
Scott's first free throw is good. And the Lopes, who only put up 2 free throw attempts in that first 20 minutes, have been taking care of business from the charity stripe in this third quarter. Scott can't get the next one to go. But the Lopes in this quarter now 4 for 7 free throw shooting. And they have a 3-point lead. By the way, not just the fact that that was a technical foul on Eccles, but it's also considered a personal foul. So that means the Aggie starting point guard officially in foul trouble with 3. And the Lopes are going to get the basketball.
And if you're the Lopes, you have got to keep your foot on the gas pedal right now because New Mexico State is on the verge after that technical foul.
But unfortunately, Caldwell and Jackson not on the same page out on the perimeter. Jackson went one way and the pass went the other. So that'll be a turnover to give it back to the Aggies. Scott will check out. Carla Balagay, who, like Jackson, only played a couple of minutes in that first half because of foul trouble, is back in. And the Lopes again continuing to press. Now they'll back out, as running the point guard spot at the moment is Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson being hounded by Brown. Off for Usaa. Usaa give it to Prince. She's alone. She'll fire a 3, but it's short. Boxing out for the rebound is GCU's Nana Jackson. Weaves through traffic and now is called for the travel as she was bumped from behind. Tried to put the brakes on, and that will send it the other way. And again, the Lopes making some uncharacteristic, unforced errors this afternoon.
Yeah, not so much that was a travel as much as a double dribble I saw, but Coach Miller she traveled because she got pushed from behind, trying to slow herself up and draw the contact.
But as we've said, this 3-man officiating crew of Schmidt, Mullen, and Martinez are letting them play, so the Lopes can't wait around waiting for calls.
And this might be the most travels we have seen in a basketball game in some time.
Donaldson pushes off, gets away with it, gets inside to Sule, gives it to the cutting Prince, who's double-teamed, goes away from it, puts it up from 8. It'll count, and she will head to the line with a chance to tie it up on the 3-point play opportunity. That foul is on Balagay, so Carla, unfortunately, right back into foul trouble with 3. That's only the third team foul on the Lopes. New Mexico State's already over the limit, and we haven't even played 5 minutes here in quarter number 3. Balagay out, Scott back in. And Prince, who is a 70% free throw shooter on the season, will have a chance to knot it up, but can't. Rebound, poked around, kept alive by Sule. Aggies get it back. Now it's a loose ball. Who's got it? Caldwell, make that Tierra Brown, throws it for Pieta. Now the Lopes have numbers if they can get there. Scott to Caldwell. Caldwell backs out to the trailer, Tierra Brown. Drive all the way underneath, come back out for Pieta. Pieta, lob over the top, but lob Scott leaves it too long for Katie Scott, and you could just tell the Lopes, even when they get some momentum, they're a little bit anxious, a little bit tight.
Yeah, and that's the toughest pass to make, trying to throw that lob to where either Katie Scott's going to catch it or nobody is, and right there, and more often so far tonight, nobody's gotten there. So the Lopes got to keep attacking that pass because at some point, Katie Scott's going to get there.
Inbound steal. Pieta and Brown both get there, so they'll have it in their front court, preserving a 1-point edge. We near the midpoint of the third quarter as Jackson wants Pieta to come get the ball. She obliges. Here's Tierra Brown way out front. Around a screen from Balagay. Hooks it back to Carla. She'll drive in, draw the defense, kick for Jackson for 3! And that's the perfect way for Nana to get on the board. 35-31. Lopes with the lead. It equals their largest. Driving inside, Donaldson with the left hand, no. Back tap out front, but there's Pieta. Pieta comes down, doesn't have numbers. Goes inside, lob for Balagay. Out for Caldwell. Straight away for 3, no. Rebound to the floor. Who's got it? Donaldson on the floor, wrapped up by Brown. Possession arrow favors New Mexico State. And we've got a timeout on the floor, so we will step away with 4 minutes and 29 seconds left to go in quarter number 3. It is a scratch and claw affair here at GCU Arena, and it's your Lopes 35, the Aggies 31 right here on GCU TV.
While you explore our country, let Community Tire Pros be part of your journey. We're here to give everyone something to look forward to. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
Joel Embiid is unhappy.
Like, really unhappy.
Because the internet keeps using not-so-amazing GIFs to react to his amazing highlights. Mountain Dew presents the Joel Embiid Deserves Better Reactions GIF Collection.
Now I'm so happy.
When you have the urge to play outside, Tire Pros wants to get you there, offering convenience, selection, and our national roadside assistant. Message us or schedule an appointment online at Community Tire Pros today. Tire Pros, we're here for you.
GCU fans, if you haven't already, it's time to download the Lope Nation app. Watch GCU home sporting events directly from your app. Receive personalized news and score updates for your favorite Lopes teams. Follow the Lopes closer than ever with scores, schedules, stories, and more. And even more perks will be coming very soon. Search GCU Athletics in your phone's app store or download the GCU Athletics app now at gculopes.com/app.
Largest lead of the game for New Mexico State, 8. That was back in the late part of the first quarter. Largest lead for the Lopes, you're looking at it. 35-31 is the score with 4:29 left to go third quarter. And it really shows, Kyle, that the Lopes have had to scratch and claw for everything they've earned.
Well, absolutely. And Coach Miller this week challenged her team to find an identity other than being able to score and scramble. Well, I think you found it in we are grinders.
And they're doing it right now, and Shorts almost came up with another inbound steal. And you can see the Lopes starting to kind of turn the tide with that backcourt defense, and it was a defense that was not working in the first half, mainly because they weren't able to employ it, because if you don't make a lot of shots, you don't get a lot of chances to set up. So Taylor Donaldson right now running the point with Eccles on the bench in foul trouble. And Eccles picked up that third foul via the technical route. Donaldson off for Sophia Usaa, who was the main offensive cog in the first half. That pass tipped away, goes to Caldwell. Lead pass for Jackson, fumbles, saves it on the baseline. Now the Lopes have to be a little patient in the half-court set, especially with Scott on the bench. Here's Tiara Brown out front. Starts the dribble going. We're under 4 minutes left to go third quarter. Go in the paint, come back out. Fumbles it to Caldwell. Caldwell with 10, now with 9. Wants to spread the floor. Has to do something with 5. Drive all the way in, and getting her hands on the ball is Taylor Donaldson. The Aggies have been doing that a lot in this game, where they have been anticipating the drive, and instead of trying to go up and block the shot, they're trying to put both hands on the ball before the Lopes can get the shot attempt up. Possession arrow favors GCU, so Pieta will inbound. Scott is back in there. Only 3 on the clock, and that pass tipped away. Would have been tough for them to get it going anyway. Taylor Graves comes down. She'll weave through traffic and get the uncontested lay-in. The Lopes have just not been able to time those lob passes to Katie Scott at all this afternoon, and that's one of the reasons why Katie has only 4 points with 3:20 left to go in the third quarter. 2-point Lopes lead. Scott hounded out front, gets it off for Pieta. Sule with the defensive assignment on Scott. Pieta drive in, tried to get it off on the pick and roll. It's deflected and stolen away. Here come the Aggies with a chance to tie. It's Gray again, but as Gray drove around Pieta, Lauda reaches in, and she will be whistled for her first personal foul. That is the last foul to give that the Lopes have in this quarter. New Mexico State already over the limit.
That's a smart foul from Laura Piera. Just couldn't quite get back in front of her, and you possibly avoided an and one on the other end for New Mexico State as she picks up her first, like you just mentioned, Jim.
So instead, the Aggies will have it out front. But first things first, the ball got stuck between the glass and the rim, and they had to go use another basketball to get it out of there, which is double duty during a pandemic because now you have to have extra sterilization on both basketballs. So now ready for live action. Grace Tholovalu back in, gets the inbounds, gives it off for Taylor Graves as Brooke Atkinson going to her bench here in the waning moments of the third. Graves waiting for a Sule screen. Now tries the lob. Jackson got a piece of it, somehow still goes to Usaa. Now to Tholovalu, wants to work on Tiara Brown. Gets up in the air, throws it cross court. Open look Donaldson, three-pointer misses everything, and the rebound scramble goes out of bounds. Last touch by Sule, who winces as she winds up on the floor. Molly Miller with an opportunity to get Katie Scott back in. And Scott, who, as we know, the leading scorer on the team, averaging nearly 21 points a game, still with only 1 field goal. Aggies pressing in the backcourt. Scott gets it up for Tiara Brown. Brown now waits for her teammates to get set. 2.5 minutes left to go, third quarter. It has been slow going offensively for both teams. Tiana Brown waits for her sister to go inside, gives it off for Jackson, back for Tiara Brown. Shot clock at 7, another lob, another ill-fated lob. Stolen by the Aggies, here they come. Donaldson on the left side, gives it out front for Taylor Graves. Graves to the right side, tried to get it off for Usaa. Tiana Brown trying to save, can't capitalize on the steal, but gets her hands in the passing lanes, and the Aggies forced to inbound. Molly Miller continuing to try and substitute at will, trying to make sure that she can find the combination that works and gives this team some breathing room. Lopes trail by 5 at the half. They have a 2-point lead right now. Donaldson with the ball out front. We hit the 2-minute mark of the third quarter. New Mexico State has just 6 points in this quarter. The Lopes with 13. Tholovalu trying to change that as she weaves inside. Has her shot blocked, but a late whistle and a foul called on the Lopes' Tiara Brown. And that will put GCU over the team foul limit. And I think what they were saying is, yes, she got the ball, but she also got part of the elbow.
I would love to see that one again. That was a very athletic play from Tiara Brown and a great play from her on the defensive end. And that's no stranger to her. That's what she does. She comes out of nowhere to get any piece of your shot, and she's averaging almost 2 blocks a game.
Well, and you can tell Brown right now being talked to by assistant coach Buck Scheel and Molly Miller saying, shake it off. That's the kind of defensive play we want to see you make. Tholavalu's first one good, second one not good, and Scott with a rebound, so the Lopes still with a 1-point edge. Racing down the right side, the Lopes' Tiana Brown. Waits for the trailer Scott. Fake the three, drive on Sule, keeps on coming, and that scoop shot is knocked away, but a foul. Again, the Aggies over the limit, and that's personal foul number 3 on Sule. She joins Jade Bradley and Dee Dee Eccles at that plateau with 1:41 left. Caldwell in, Jackson out of the GCU lineup with Scott set to head back to the line where she's 2 of 4 for the game and the quarter. Again, these two teams will finish off this 2-game set tomorrow night right back here at GCU Arena. Again, the Lopes will still be considered the road team. 7 o'clock with the tip-off. We'll be on the air right here at GCU TV at 6:55.
And you know what? That game could be better than this one. I mean, after the way this one's going and how close it is, tomorrow is going to be very interesting, and you're going to get your first taste of what back-to-back games looks like in this year that we're in, having to play the same team twice with really just, you know, about an hour shoot-around tomorrow morning.
It's new for everybody. Sides. It really is. It's new for everybody. I mean, when we were talking to head coach Bryce Drew of the GCU men's team after the Charlton win on Friday night, I said, how are you going to employ, you know, what are you going to employ tomorrow? He said, I'm just going to kind of let it flow because I need to kind of figure it out on the fly like everybody else does. I'm making some adjustments, and now after the 2 free throws made by Katie Scott, the Aggies forced to call a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. We want to remind you, speaking of Bryce Drew and the GCU men's team, that they are going to have 2 games sandwiched in between the 2 women's games, and the first one happens tonight, 7 o'clock with the tip-off. You can catch it on Fox 10 Extra starting at 6:30 p.m., and then Paul Coro and I will have the call on 1580 a.m. The Fanatic and 99.3 FM starting at 6:45, and then tomorrow they'll finish out their set with Bethesda University out of California with a 2 p.m. tip-off. 1:30 with the pregame on Fox 10 Extra, 1:45 with the pregame on 1580 The Fanatic. So we hope you will tune in all weekend long right here on GCU TV, as well as 1580 The Fanatic and Fox 10 Extra for some great GCU basketball when we didn't think we would have anything to do this weekend. The Lopes women's team originally supposed to be in Illinois right now, but Chicago State had to beg out of that doubleheader because of COVID. And the Lopes and Chicago State on the men's side was actually canceled a couple of weeks ago when Chicago State suspended their men's season entirely. Aggies with the ball after the timeout, trailing by 3. Tholamalu outside. Covered by Caldwell. Stop the dribble, give it to Thalen Grays. She'll pump it up from 15 and get it. Open look for Grays. And off the bench, she's now got 7 points. Back to a 1-point Lopes edge as we near the 1-minute mark. Caldwell running the point, even with Pieta still in there. Here's Tiara Brown, start to drive, now has it knocked away, gets it back, stop in the lane, gives it on a backdoor pass, doesn't get to Caldwell. Another steal by the Aggies, here they come. Tholamalu weaving through traffic, throws it in the corner. Grays has been hot, she'll fire the 3, but that's off the mark. Rebound down to GCU's Tiana Brown. About 7 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Caldwell left alone, but the 3-pointer won't go. And Grays has it. Now the Aggies can go for the lead and try and end the quarter with it as they can go for the final shot with 20 seconds left. And Grays is going to do just that. Brooke Atkinson, the 4-year head coach, calling out instructions. Grays being picked up outside the arc by Caldwell. Game clock at 9, now 8. Grays waiting for a screen. Now double team, trying to go away from it. Goes down on the floor, has to get rid of it. Does so to Sule with 1 second to go. Shot will not go, and the follow-up by Usaa is waved off. Indicative of the way this has gone as both teams with plenty of opportunities offensively and making defensive stops to thwart it. And we've got a 1-point game with 10 minutes left. End of 3 here at GCU Arena. We got a good one in the WAC opener for both teams. It's the GCU Lopes 37, the New Mexico State Aggies 36. Keep it here for more Lopes women's basketball coverage on GCU TV.
Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, you know, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... Whew, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Yeah. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
My favorite rap artist is Drake, but my favorite Christian band is Mercy Me. I like volleyball a lot. It's probably my favorite other sport. My favorite TV show would be The Office or Criminal Minds. Okay, my most used emoji is probably the laughing face, and I really like the one where he looks kind of sad, but it's a cute one.
Was that they may have to do that way. A 1-point game after 30 minutes of play. What a way to start off Western Athletic Conference play with Kyle Borg, Jim Howe back here for 10 more minutes. And New Mexico State will have the basketball to start quarter number 4. Yes, the Aggies in their home jerseys, because this is considered a home state or a home game for New Mexico State, having been forced to play their games in the Phoenix area since December. And now a tie-up, shorts on the floor with Taylor Donaldson. That'll be a held ball, and the Lopes will get it back with a 1-point edge.
You know what, the Lopes closed that rebounding gap in that third quarter, down 19-9 at the half. Now it's 27-20 New Mexico State. So out-rebounded them very well in that third quarter. Let's see if they can keep it up, and that's the difference, has been the rebounding game so far in this one.
Let's also see if number 33 can get on track offensively. Katie Scott with just 6 points and 1 field goal in the first 3 quarters. She averages 21 on the year. Scott with the drive, give it to Caldwell. They want to try and lob it into her, but that has been an imperfect science so far this afternoon. Caldwell with 6 on the shot clock. Start to dribble drive. Back away, fire from 16. Bound around and drop through. Caldwell, who was the leader in the clubhouse with 10 points at halftime, now with 14. They need a spark, and that could be the one that gives it to her. Prince drive in. She will swoop through 2 defenders and put it up and in, and Prince in double figures with 10. 39-38. Lopes inbound. Caldwell, Scott, Pieta, Shorts, and Jackson. That's the 5 on the floor for Molly Miller. That's the 5 on the floor that also started the game for the first-year head coach of the Lopes. Caldwell yo-yoing out front. Taylor Donaldson has been giving him some good minutes at the point guard spot. Now Prince coming way out to try for the steal and got part of Katie Scott's arm. That'll be team foul number 1. That will also be the second foul on the Aggies' leading scorer, Aaliyah Prince.
And you know what, I've been impressed with Aaliyah Prince. Averages 16.5 just about on the season, just 10 here so far this afternoon, but she's 5 of 9 from the floor, and she's got 10 points, 5 rebounds, and she is really willing this Aggies team right now. And preseason first team all WAC for Aaliyah Prince, has been playing in the shadow of Gia Pack for New Mexico State the last couple years, and the redshirt senior showing you why she was a first team.
Scott throws it away, and it turns out to be a layup on the other end for Aaliyah Prince. Prince now with 12 points, and New Mexico State with the lead back. Here's Pieta on the drive, lobs it out front. Caldwell alone for 3! Taylor Caldwell finding the range for the 3rd time behind the arc, and the Lopes swing back out on top.
Well, you cannot leave her alone with that much time and space.
There's a steal inside. The deflection goes to Scott. Let's see if the Lopes can take advantage of it. 2 minutes gone by, fourth quarter. Jackson's also one they would love to get on track offensively. Here's Caldwell holding the ball out front, being pressured by Eccles, who's back in there.
And a
And a 5-second call as she didn't get rid of the basketball.
That's the second 5-second count for the Lopes on the turnover side in this one. The first one was on the inbound, and that one's just in the pace of play.
So the Lopes had the momentum, and it goes and shifts again. Now Eccles has the ball with a chance to tie for the Aggies. Caldwell backtracking defensively. Eccles gives it off. Here's Sule at the high post. Drive on Brown, just throws the elbow out. Puts up the shot, doesn't go, but she's going to get rewarded as the foul is called on Tiara Brown, and that's 3 fouls for Tiara.
And you know what? That foul is just the angle that that elbow came out from up here. You saw the initiated contact by the Aggies on that one, and Tiara Brown is paying the price with that third foul.
So Sule to the line, and the first free throw is not good. This team shoots 63% as a team from the charity stripe.
And you know what? It's not necessarily the worst thing to put this Aggies team on the line if you're the Lopes. Make them beat you with the free points.
Both free throws missed, and then Brown has it stripped away. Prince comes up with the steal. Again, a lot of contact, but the Lopes can't worry about not getting calls. Here's Eccles, and she's bumped around, and that is a foul call. That'll be on the Lopes.
They called that on Piera and not Shorts on the reach. I thought they were going to get Kennedy Shorts on the reach. Instead, they got Piera with a block.
And Lauda kind of pleading their case on the baseline. That's only her second personal foul. So again, a non-shooting foul. Eccles looking on the baseline. Looking, waiting, throws it out. Driving in. Nice drive, and with the left hand going up and in is Deja Terrell. Terrell's first scoring ties it up. 5th time we've been knotted up this afternoon. Caldwell backs it out. Lopes again forced to go to the half-court set. And Scott for the moment on the Lopes bench. Brown hands off for Pieta. Pieta will stop at the free throw line. Gets it in for Shorts, but has it knocked away. It's saved out front. Jackson's got it. No reset on the shot clock, but wait a minute. They are initially going to say, I believe, a change of possession. So they stop the clock to reset the shot clock to 30. And now the referee's conferring. That gives Molly Miller a chance to get Scott back into the lineup.
And she's been using that offense-defense substitution since early on in the third quarter. Usually you get that really late in these type of games, but I like it from Coach Miller because you keep Katie Scott and Kennedy Shorts fresh.
Jackson turns around. That one rims around, won't go. Rebound comes back out to Nana. She'll force her way in, puts up the shot. No, there's Scott, and they'll wave off the shot as Jackson was knocked down and fouled. Jackson staying with the play, and that's the kind of intensity that Molly Miller is asking for her charges for the final 6:38. And that is personal foul number 4 on New Mexico State's Jade Bradley. So Jackson to the line for the first time in the afternoon. Can she break the tie? No, not with the first one. And the Piedmont High School alum will have one more opportunity. Free throw, good. And the Lopes swinging back out on top by 1 as Atkinson will get Sophia Anusa back in. Anusa with 9 points, second on the team in scoring to Prince's 12. Again, full court pressure. Eccles gets it off to the driving Prince. Prince will drive in, crash into Jackson, wave it off. Offensive foul. Nana anticipated perfectly. It'll head the other way.
And that is exactly what this defense is set up to do, is take charges at any chance they get. They haven't had very many opportunities today, but when they have, they've drawn 2.
Third personal on the Aggies' leading scorer. You know that's something Brooke Atkinson will be watching. as she paces in front of the New Mexico State bench. 1 point game, Lopes with the lead in the basketball. Scott back in and with the ball out front. Gives it on a backdoor pass for Brown, and as Brown tried to put the brakes on, she took an extra step. That'll be a turnover to send it the other way. The Lopes have just not been able to get in sync even when they've had opportunities underneath the basket. Brown had Pieta driving to the bucket, just couldn't put the brakes on in time. So now Brown will pressure the inbounds pass. Bradley looking. Springing free is Terrell. And now Eccles will slow it up and walk it across the midcourt line with Pieta in her face. 4 minutes gone by. No breathing room at all. Eccles, quick jumper off the back of the iron, no. Scott rips down the rebound, and being over-aggressive, trying to pry it away, Deja Terrell picks up the foul. And already 4 team fouls on the Aggies with 5:58 left to go in regulation. That could be huge if the Lopes get to go to the free throw line. So Tiara Brown will inbound it in backcourt, and once again the Aggies, like the Lopes, will continue to press full court. Caldwell now dribbles it off her foot, but is able to get it back. Hands off for Pieta. Pieta gets it across that GCU logo at midcourt. Caldwell outside the left arc. Waits for Scott to come free. Lob over the top. Brown brings it down. Double team. Throws it out front. Here's Scott to Caldwell. Back to Tierra. Tierra will work again. Turnaround jumper off the front of the iron. Won't go. Tough break. Now Eccles stops the dribble in backcourt. Lopes have to get back defensively. And Usaa will back it out. Nearing the midcourt of this nip and tuck fourth quarter. Lopes hanging on to the lead. Neither team taking advantage of offensive opportunities. Prince driving. Has it rejected by Scott, and as Prince brought it back down, she bounced it on the out-of-bounds line. Great defense by the Lopes starting center.
And you know what? Katie Scott has not been an offensive threat like usual, but she has been a defensive threat for the Lopes. She's doing the little things today to go with her 6 points. She's got 4 rebounds, that blocked shot, and 3 steals. So the little things are really what is making Katie Scott go, and I'm sure the points will be coming here in bunches very soon.
Now Caldwell just took a shot in the midsection, and she is down on her knees in backcourt, so a timeout. So Molly Miller will quickly get Ven Lavaris up along with Tiana Brown. And of course, when Caldwell has gone down a couple of times this year, automatically everybody is worried about her knee since she had to have that ACL surgery that kept her out all last year. But for now, it may just be getting the wind knocked out of her. And so we'll have an official's timeout with 5:04 left. Again, the second half of this WAC opening doubleheader weekend is tomorrow night right back here at GCU Arena. 7 o'clock with the tip-off. We'll have it for you at 6:55 with the pregame show right here on GCU TV. And the referees are now going to the replay.
I'm sure to see if it was accidental contact or if they can deem that intentional. And if
flagrant.
they do, it'll be a flagrant 1 probably, I would assume, or a live ball technical might be what it is.
Well, and the tough part with those calls, Kyle, is that, you know, because it happened away from the play, they may only have a limited, you know, set of angles that they can actually look at.
Right. Or it could just end up, maybe they're just going to see if there was just a general foul, which would put the Lopes on the free throw line, sending New Mexico State over with 5:04 remaining.
Yeah, New Mexico State with 4 team fouls, Lopes with 2. Free throws have been a factor in this second half on both sides, but New Mexico State only 1 of 5 in this second half after making both of their free throw attempts in the first half. The Lopes have been much better in that category, going 8 of 11.
And you look at where these two teams were picked in the preseason, you know, and the coaches, the Lopes 3rd, New Mexico State 4, and these could be 2 of the top 3 teams in the WAC right now, right behind undefeated California Baptist. So don't be surprised if after tomorrow, you have to see the Lopes and New Mexico State possibly in a semifinal in the WAC tournament, maybe even a championship game, depending on how the rest of the WAC season goes.
So Caldwell on the bench as the Lopes come back on the offensive set, leading by a point. And away from the ball, Vadas on the pass off. A foul called. It will stay on this side of the floor. And I believe that foul's on Sule. If it is, it's her fourth. Now they say it's her third, but that will send everybody to the benches as we have a timeout. 4:54 left to go in this one. Don't you go anywhere. It is Grand Canyon 43, New Mexico State 42. We've got more Lopes women's basketball on the way right here on GCU TV.
When life seems uncertain, there's one credit union that provides both dollars and cents. Copper State Credit Union. With solutions that focus on our members, you can take advantage of competitive rates, free cashback checking, and local attentive service. Uplifting our community is a standard we live by. That's why thousands of your Arizona neighbors rely on us. Strengthening Arizona families through financial empowerment. That's Copper State Credit Union.
Jim Howe, Kyle Borg back here in the heart of the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. The first time in 13 days and only the second time in the last 26 days that the Lopes have been able to take their own floor, and they're doing it as a road team. Remember, this was supposed to be a doubleheader 2 weeks from now in Las Cruces, but the Aggies unable to play their games in the state of New Mexico, having to play in and around the Phoenix area most of the last month. Both teams agreeing after having their initial scheduled games canceled due to COVID protocols, agreeing to move this game up and keeping the Aggies as the designated home team. So neither team has been able to have much of an advantage. We have not seen a lead larger than 8 between these two rivals all day long. And with 4:54 left, Katie Scott fouled before the timeout. And putting New Mexico State over the team foul limit, will head to the line for an important pair of free throws. And the first one bounds around and drops through. Katie, 5 of 7 from the stripe, all in this second half. Lopes have never led by more than 4. Second free throw, in and out. So the Lopes lead is a deuce. Taylon Gray's reinserted into the Aggies lineup. Brings it out of backcourt. Vadas has the defensive assignment out front. Tholomalu comes out to get it. Wants to work on Taylor Caldwell, who's back in there. Double team, runs away from it. Gives a no-look pass to Anusa. She gets up in the air with nowhere to go. The shot won't go, but the rebound's off the hands of Vadas. Aggies with it back. Tholomalu drives in, gives it on the side. Sule can't get the shot to go. Now Caldwell wants to run. New Mexico State back defensively. Throws it in the corner. Jackson open look. Three-pointer won't go. Rebound belongs to Sule. Now she's triple teamed, and it's ripped out of her hands by Pieta. It'll be a held ball. Aggies have the possession arrow, but a great defensive play by the Spaniard.
And Piera did not want that to be a held ball. That was a very quick jump ball whistle, and probably for the best, as she ripped that one out of the hands there, and it was gives the arrow back to the Lopes, which could be huge coming down the stretch.
With 4:13 left on the clock and a 2-point game. So it's Tholomalu who will be pressured on the inbounds by Shorts. Goes for the long pass. Anusa's got it with Brown to beat, and Brown times it perfectly. Swats it away out of bounds.
And you watched how Anusa kind of stopped and tried to draw the contact, but Tiara Brown did a great job of avoiding it and getting all ball that time.
Aggies will get it back, but what a highlight reel play by the freshman. Here's Anusa out front. 11 against 11, Anusa against Caldwell. Here's Grays, lobs it for Tholomalu. Can she save it? Yes. Has Brown in her face, and then a reach-in foul is called on Brown, and that is Tiara's fourth. That is team foul number 3 on the Lopes. Remember, New Mexico State has already put the Lopes in the bonus. Tholomalu will inbound just to the left of her own bench. Does so to Donaldson. Make that Eccles. Eccles for Grays. Usaa comes out to get it. 12 to get a shot off. Usaa on the drive. That one is rejected this time by Tiana Brown.
And Big Sister says, I see you, little sister. I can do it too.
Again out of bounds, and the Aggies will get it back with Jackson replacing Tiara Brown as Molly Miller wants to use her freshman forward wisely and doesn't want Tiara to pick up that 5th and disqualifying foul. Atkinson countering as Tholomalu goes to the bench. Prince back in. Eccles looking, better hurry, throws it out front for Prince. 10 on the Aggie shot clock. Prince working one-on-one. Puts it up over the outstretched arms of Caldwell. It won't go, but the rebound poked out front, and Usaa's got it. Back to Prince. Prince pushes off on Caldwell, gets away with it. Throws it back out front for Eccles. Shot clock at 10, game clock at 3.5. Here's Prince, baseline. She'll step inside the defender, put up a leap and leaner, won't go. Inside is Grays, puts it up and in. It'll count, and she's fouled on the play. And the Lopes had chances to be able to get those rebounds and not give the Aggies extra opportunities, but it was Grays first, or it was Usaa first, and then Grays second to give them 3 opportunities. And here is Grays at the line with a chance to give the Aggies the lead, which she can't do. But Prince able to rip down the rebound, goes to the floor, saves it to Usaa. Again, new life. And a 44-all tie. Prince off for Grays. Gets the defender up in the air, drives, puts it up, no, whistle, foul, Pieta. Grays back to the line. And right now the hustle points are going to New Mexico State, and Molly Miller, I think, is seeing that as she sits back down on the Lopes bench. So she gets Tiara Brown back in there for Kennedy Shorts.
And she'll bring Katie Scott back in as well, it looks like, for Tiana Brown. So Tiara's got to be careful with those 4 fouls because you want her on the floor in this situation with just over 3 minutes remaining in a tie ball game.
Brown with 4, Pieta with 3. Free throw is good by Grays, and that swings New Mexico State back out on top by 1.
And you talk about role players, that's what Grays gives you. Only averages 4.2 points on the season, and she's got 13 here this afternoon, really helping out Aaliyah Prince and Sophia Inosa.
2-point Aggie lead. We're inside of 3 minutes. Lob to Brown, who snuck underneath, and as she goes up for the shot, she's knocked down and fouled. The foul is on Eccles. That is her 4th. Again, the Lopes are in the bonus. So these free throws for Tiara Brown, huge. Again, Miller will reinsert Shorts for Scott defensively. And the freshman from Spanaway, Washington at the line with a chance to tie. First free throw, not good. And we said a few moments ago, free throws are going to be huge down the stretch, and are proving so. Next free throw, in and out. Rebound, Shorts fighting for it, but Gray's able to track it down. Now the Lopes have to clamp down. Here's Prince. Prince thinking on driving, but Pieta cuts her off. Out for Taylor Grays, who's had the hot hand in this second half. Eccles stop in the lane. Give it to Usaa. Out for Prince. Stutter step, puts it up from 15, in and out. Rebound, scramble. Shorts able to tap it to Caldwell, and Caldwell is held in the backcourt and fouled. And that foul's on Prince. That is her 4th.
And that is a huge 4th foul on Aaliyah Prince, because down the stretch, she is going to be the orchestrator of this offense for New Mexico State. And if the Lopes can find a way to have her pick up number 5, that'll be very, very big.
Not to mention, it happens nearly 90 feet away from the opposing basket, and it stops the clock. So Caldwell, one of the better free throw shooters on the squad, but right now, the disease is contagious. The Lopes missed the front half, and there are 2 of 7 free throws shooting in this fourth quarter. So she can make it a 1-point game. The free throw, not good. Grays comes down with it. Grays wants to run, and now loses the basketball. It was the pressure from behind by Brown, and Pieta knocked it away. Now the Lopes need a bucket. 2:20 to go. They trail by a deuce. Jackson with the ball out front. She has just 1 field goal in the ball game. Shorts hands off for Pieta. Pieta, she'll fire it up and get it. 2-point basket to tie the game.
They're going to go look. I think they stopped that immediately, so they're going to look at it. But what a shot from Laura Piera.
Ice intervenes. Pieta, who made her first 2 field goal attempts of the game all the way back in the first quarter and has not had one since, for the moment has tied it. And I guess they are going to review it with 2:05 left. Aggies assistant coach Ryan McAdams coming over for a clarification. But they're going to stop this and take a look.
And this is a much-needed breather for both sides without either coach having to use a timeout. But Coach Miller's got effectively all of hers with 3, and Brooke Atkinson and the Aggies just with that 1 full timeout remaining. So keep your eye on the timeouts with 2:05 left, but a free one due to the review.
So they confirm that it is a 2-pointer from Pieta, and we are now tied for the 7th time. So whoever wins the battle in the final 2 minutes is going to be perfect in WAC play. Full court defensive pressure. Inbound to Eccles. Now the Lopes back out of it. 2 minutes left to go in this thriller. Fasten the seatbelts. Here we go. Eccles to the left side, keeps the dribble going. Driving on Caldwell, cut off there. Scoop it for Grays, open look for 3, too hard. Long rebound, Grays has got it. Drives in, dish for Sule, she'll score. And again, the Lopes not able to get to that loose ball, and we're kind of standing around defensively. Here's Jackson. Lopes trailing by a deuce. She'll drive the baseline. Throw it in the opposite corner for Pieta. Doesn't want the shot. Lopes need to work it in to get a good shot if they can, even with Katie Scott on the bench. Shot clock is at 11 for Caldwell. Around a short screen. Backs it out. Now 7, now 6. Got to do something with it. TC to the baseline. Pump it up from 15. It's short. Long rebound. Caldwell's got it. Throws it out for Jackson. Now Pieta. Short still on the floor. And Pieta has it knocked away. But a whistle and a foul with 67 seconds remaining. And that foul is on Prince. That's 5. She's gone. Huge for New Mexico State. Shorts was down on the floor for quite a while during that play. Prince fouling out unofficially with 12 points. And remember, Brooke Atkinson not out of the woods yet. Bradley, Eccles, and Sule all with 4 personals as Pieta misses the front half of the 2-shot foul. Again, the disease is contagious. The Lopes have gone to the free throw line 9 times in this fourth quarter alone, and they've missed 7 of them. Pieta salvages one of the 2. 1 point, Aggies lead. Shorts pressuring the inbounds pass. They get it into Sule. Double teamed, off for Bradley. Here's Grays, lead pass, now they have numbers. It's Eccles, off for Usaa, fake shoot, swatted away by Shorts at the last minute. Out of bounds, New Mexico basketball.
And a 2-on-1 turns into another block for the Lopes as Jackson had to stop the ball, and then they pumped and let Brown go by, but Shorts was right on her tail and threw that one out of bounds.
The Aggies will inbound underneath. Still 21 on the shot clock. Low block for Grays. Grays wants to back it out and use some clock on behest of her head coach, Brooke Atkinson. Grays now playing keep away from Pieta. Shot clock down to 10. Grays spreading the floor. Comes around a screen. Stop, give it to Sule. Sule will drive, spin in the lane, put it up, won't go. She's knocked down hard. Foul on Shorts. And with 2 on the shot clock, Sule going to the line with 2 huge free throws.
And another great defensive possession from the Lopes. here in this fourth quarter. And in the second half, their defense has really been the catalyst like it's been all season long. But really in this one, it's what's kept them in it.
We've talked about the Lopes struggles at the line in the fourth quarter. New Mexico State not that much better. They're 2 out of 5. Sule's first one in and out. And she is now 0 for 3 in this quarter.
66% on the season for Sule.
Both of these teams showing the effects of the ring rust of being off for 2 weeks. The next free throw, good. 2-point game, 39.1 seconds remaining. Molly Miller, with 3 timeouts left, will burn one of them, so we will keep it here. It is a 30-second timeout. And New Mexico State, who trailed much of the third quarter and the first half of the fourth, took the lead back at 46-44. And even though we've been tied 3 times in this fourth quarter, the Lopes have not been able to get the lead back. Now, we saw Molly Miller reinsert Katie Scott right before that timeout. And even though Scott has been very quiet, it'll be interesting to see if they try to diagram a play for Scott with the, dare I say it, Kyle, dreaded lob pass, which has not worked well today.
Well, I expect this ball to somehow find Katie Scott at some point. I think everybody at home and in the building knows that at some point this is going from Caldwell or Piera to Scott, which is exactly what you want because this is Katie Scott time.
Here's Piera dribbling the ball out front. 8 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. So the Lopes need a hoop here. Caldwell running it down. Eccles with a defensive assignment on her. Give it in the corner for Jackson. Scott continues to set up. They can't get it into her. Instead, Piera drives, puts it up off the glass and in. Lauda with the one-hander to tie it. Timeout on the floor. 17.1 seconds remaining. What a play by the 3-year starter at the point.
Laura Piera just, I don't even know. That one was a great drive and an even better finish. She just willed that one in.
If there was one of those speaking bubbles that was coming out of Lauda's head during that play when she was looking in to try and lob it into Katie Scott, it was the heck with this. I'm going to do it myself.
And you know what? That's what you like out of your leaders and your third-year starting point guard who started all but one game in her GCU career, 59 of 60, now 60 of 61 after today. But
well, and when was the last time, Kyle, in this season that we have said the Lopes have 2 players in double figures and Katie Scott's neither of them? Taylor Caldwell was 17 and now Pieta with 11.
I don't think at all this season that we
Correct.
have not said that Katie Scott is within double figures, but she's got 7 points, 5 of them from the line, and Caldwell's 17 she sparked the Lopes on those 2 comeback runs to tie and eventually take the lead, and the Lopes haven't really relinquished that so far here in the fourth quarter.
And Taylon Grays leads the Aggies in scoring off the bench with 13, and there's only one other Aggie that's in double figures, but she's on the bench. Aaliyah Prince fouled out of the ball game just 40 seconds ago, and she has 12 points. So the Aggies need a hoop here. The shot clock is off. Brooke Atkinson taking them all the way to the end baseline to diagram a play.
And you know what? I'll go ahead and say it. New Mexico State's got 2 other players with 4, so if this one ends up going to overtime, it is going to benefit the Lopes, who only have Tiara Brown with 4. Everybody else 3 or less. So the foul game is going to be huge. Both teams in the bonus with 17.9, so no fouls to give either way.
So Anosa will inbound right in front of her head coach. Shot clock is off. New Mexico State can go for the win. And Anosa is going to dribble out front with 12 seconds left. Shorts and Caldwell covering out front. Down to 7, now 6. They want to make sure the Lopes don't have a second opportunity. Here's 4, here's 3, and Noosa loses control of the basketball. Taylor Caldwell tried to call a timeout.
They're going to have to go put time back on. There's at least 0.8, and that ball's going to get advanced to half court, no dribble.
And Noosa was trying to draw the contact on Shorts, which has worked several times in the ball game, but Shorts was able to hold her ground, and Noosa trying to dribble away and reset, lost her footing and lost the ball. So now the referees are at the scorer's table to try and figure out how much time to put on. Katie Scott has already gotten the warm-ups off and is reported back in. So Molly Miller taking as much time as she can before she knows how much time she has left to try and win this. And we've been debating, Kyle Borg, because of this unusual circumstance, that if GCU wins this, is it a road win? And I think the answer is yes.
It would almost have to be. 0-7 lifetime on the road, 4-10, all 4 wins here in Phoenix.
They're going to put .4.
So that's got to be a tip.
That's a tip, yeah. So
I got to get Kennedy Shorts on the tip, I almost think, or Tierra Brown.
Yeah,
going to the rim.
And for that matter, even think about, unfortunately, you only have so many people that can handle the ball out front. But getting Tierra Brown, Carla Balagay, Katie Scott down low, that might be able to work. But you also want to make sure that you don't put too many people in the paint, and that if Scott is able to possibly get it and just push it up and in, you want to make sure she has enough room.
And with .4, they're going back to review if this ball ends up going in and it's anywhere close. But worst case scenario, we're tied and we get 5 minutes of extra basketball, and these fans here today get free basketball.
And they're going to get a lot of basketball this weekend, considering we've got men's tonight, women's tomorrow night, and men's tomorrow afternoon. So what a way to start off this 4-game weekend here at GCU Arena. The Lopes with Scott, Tierra Brown, Nana Jackson, Lotta Pieta, and Taylor Caldwell. Again, .4 on the clock. Caldwell throws it in. Brown the catch and shoot. It won't go, and we are not going to be able to decide it in 40 minutes.
That was the perfectly drawn up and executed play. It just wouldn't go down. Tierra Brown had a wide open shot at that and a great look. And let's get ready for 5 more minutes of basketball, Jim.
End of regulation. Here at GCU Arena, we'll take a quick break. It's your GCU Lopes 49, New Mexico State 49, right here on GCU TV.
So no media.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country. GCU offers 270 dynamic academic programs with modern apartment-style living, classrooms, labs, restaurants, and more. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, GCU's vibrant community and expansive campus is ranked top 20 for best college campuses in America. My university integrates the free market system with a welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout campus life, so you can put your faith into action and help transform communities. GCU campus students received over $157 million in scholarships in 2020, and many students attend GCU for less than the cost of a state university. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Admissible high school seniors can schedule a free visit from anywhere in the country. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
Let's play 5, shall we? 40 minutes down, and we've got a 5-minute overtime. The first time the Lopes have been involved in an extra session in the Molly Miller era, and it will be as a road team in their home gymnasium. So we've had unusual circumstances. Let's add another wrinkle to it. The Lopes and New Mexico State tied at 49, and it's Taylor Grays and Tierra Brown set to jump tip, and the Lopes win the tap, so they will move from right to left in this overtime session. A lineup of Taylor Caldwell, Lotta Pieta, Nana Jackson, Tierra Brown, and Katie Scott. Caldwell, the baseline drive, gets up in the air, throws it in the corner, almost threw it away. Jackson comes away with it. Here's Pieta out front. Pieta sees daylight. She'll spin in the lane. Pass deflected. Saved by Brown. Still 6 to get a shot off. Here's Caldwell. Does she see it? She does now. Down to 3, down to 2. Drive, scoop, scores! Taylor Caldwell got the first step and the presence of mind. Now the lead pass. Anus is out in front of the pack. She'll lay it up and in. A defensive breakdown there. That's Anus's first scoring of since the first half when she led with 9 points. So 51 apiece. Both teams successful on their initial offensive set. Jackson with the ball out front. Now she'll back away, fire a 3, roll off. Won't go. And Usaa with a rebound. New Mexico State wants to run. Lopes got to turn around. Here's Eccles on the drive. Double team, almost lose the basketball. Get it back for Usaa. Usaa for Taylor Gray. She's been hot here in this second half. Caldwell with the defensive assignment. Inside, here is Sule. Gives it off for Bradley. Shot clock down to 10. Bradley forces a pass in the corner for Sule. Now to Gray. She'll fire a three and get it, and nobody put a hand in her face. Gray's with 3 points at halftime. She leads the way with 16 now. And it's 54-51, and after being so close to the vest offensively for 4 quarters, both teams starting to pull out all the stops. Here's Scott, turn around. That baseline jumper won't go. That's only, believe it or not, the 3rd field goal attempt of the day for the reigning WAC Player of the Week. Eccles off for Usaa. Usaa stop in the lane, double team. Throws it in the corner. Grace is alone again. This time the three-pointer won't go, but the long rebound belongs to New Mexico State. We played 2 minutes. Aggies with a 3-point edge. Eccles wants to use clock. Bradley hands off to Usaa, who fumbles and gets it back. Give it to Grays. Grays with 5, now with 4. Give it to Bradley. Bradley will drive. She will crash into Jackson. Offensive foul. And it was Tierra Brown that took the charge, and that was a risky play by Brown, playing with 4 fouls.
I was just about to say, gutsy take and a great take from Tierra Brown. That's her second charge taken in this one, and it couldn't have come at a bigger moment for the Lopes.
Well, it wasn't the 5th foul on Tierra Brown, but it was on Jade Bradley. She fouls out with that charge, and she's the second Aggie to hit the 5-foul plateau. Again, the Aggies pressing. Lopes need a hoop here, trailing by 3. Pieta down the right side. Gives it off for Tiana Brown. Brown go to the free throw line. Scoop it for Jackson. Pump it up for 3, won't go. Brown swooping in, gets the offensive board. Tried to get a low block for Scott, and it's kicked out of bounds. Lopes will keep it with 18 on the shot clock and 2:17 left to go in overtime. Pieta looks. Lob out front for Scott. Back to Pieta in the corner. She'll drive the baseline. Get up in the air as it's stripped. Saves it. Gives it to Tiana Brown. Back out for Jackson. Swinging in the corner. Tierra Brown for 3. No. Scott fighting for the rebound. Sule able to box out and take it away. Here is Eccles. Down the left side. Off for Grays. Lopes need a stop here. Eccles in the corner. She'll take the 3. They dared her to do it, and she made it anyway. Back-to-back trays for the Aggies, and suddenly it's a 6-point New Mexico State lead. Timeout, Lopes. 1:48 left. We'll take a breather. 1:48 left to go in the overtime session. It's New Mexico State with their largest lead since the first quarter. It's the Aggies 51, GCU, or 57, GCU 51 on GCU TV.
As a kid, I always dreamed of being a Division I athlete. GCU supported that dream, and they also allowed me to get an education. So when I came to GCU, I was able to transfer enough credits in to fast track my education. So I graduated in 3 years with a master's, and I did it debt-free because I had athletic and academic scholarships. I'm Mackenzie, and I earned my MBA from Grand Canyon University.
There's thunder in all of us. Come find your purpose at Grand Canyon University.
Tied at 49 at the end of regulation. The Lopes struck first blood in this overtime session on a drive by Taylor Caldwell, but they have been shut out since. And the Aggies of New Mexico State have responded with 8 points of their own, including back-to-back threes, 1 from Taylor Grays and 1 just a moment ago from Dede Eccles. And that really puts a damper on things as the Lopes, who have been struggling all day offensively and shooting just 40% from the field, now need a big play from Molly Miller's diagram chart, and they need some defensive stops. Keep in mind, New Mexico State going into this overtime session was just 3 of 12. 3 of 12 make it from three-point range, and they have made 2. So the Lopes come out with Tierra Brown, Katie Scott, Nana Jackson, Taylor Caldwell, and Lada Pieta, countering For Brooke Atkinson is Taylon Grays, Nana Sule, Didi Eccles, Sophia Nusa, and now Grace Tholovalu. Pieta comes down. Lopes don't need to shoot a three. They just need a good shot. Caldwell out front. Hands off for Scott. Open look for three. Won't go. Rebound tapped out. It'll be New Mexico State basketball.
That was a great look from Katie Scott. I like the play that was drawn up coming out of that timeout to get her that look. She's hit that a couple of different times this season. She's a 60% three-point shooter. Hasn't taken very many, but when she does, she normally hits.
So now the Lopes need a steal. Tholovalu looking. Gets it in for Eccles, and the Lopes will back away. Minute and a half left to go in the overtime session. Aggies trying to go 1-0 in WAC play. That one knocked away. Lopes had a chance at it. Now Caldwell and Anusa get tangled up, and that'll be a reach-in foul on the Lopes starting guard, Taylor Caldwell. And things not looking good right now for the Lopes. Remember, the team fouls do not reset for the overtime session, and both teams in the bonus. Caldwell with her third personal foul. And Anusa, who has not gone to the line since the first quarter when she buried both attempts, will head there now. She's a 77% free throw shooter, and the first one is in and out. Free throws have been huge since the end of the third quarter. Neither team has shot them well. Next one. That's not good. Rebound to the side. Sule comes up with it. And a fresh shot clock for New Mexico State. Well, offensive rebounds have been huge for New Mexico State down the stretch. None bigger than that one. Here's Eccles driving on Pieta. Double teamed. Off for Grays with 4 on the shot clock. Low block. Sule puts it up. No. Scott's got it, and she'll be fouled. 59.7 seconds left, and that's a big foul because it stops the clock and sends both teams down to the Lopes free throw line. It's also personal foul number 5 on Nana Sule. She's the third Aggie to foul out. Now they say it's only the 4th. So Sule is still in there.
And 2 big free throws for Katie Scott, meaning if she can at least hit the second one, the Lopes will be able to set up their full court pressure and hopefully force a turnover.
But she's got to have them both. Down 6 with a minute to go. First one, good.
Right, you definitely want both, but you always want that second one because you force New Mexico State to get off the inbound.
Scott now 6 of 9 free throw shooting. That one's good, and she probably would have gotten another chance because I think that was going to be a lane violation on New Mexico State. But both free throws good. Scott checks out, 57-53. Lopes trailing. They will press. Tholovalu looking, waiting, coming to get it is Sule. Now back to Tholovalu, and she will be fouled in the backcourt as the Lopes, unable to come up with the steal, forced to foul. Clock stops. That took 3 seconds. And Sule, missed 3 of 4 in that fourth quarter. And it's actually Tholovalu, that goes to the line. She is 1 of 2 free throw shooting. 56.7 seconds left on the clock. First free throw, rims around and won't go.
And this is where free throws become big down the stretch. You are up 6 with just over a minute to play. And with 56 seconds left, you got to knock down the free throws.
Next one, not good. Long rebound. Sule Grays takes it away from 2 different Lopes. And the Lopes again forced a foul. Aggies continuing to make the plays when they have to have them. Foul is on Pieta. That is 4 on LP. Referees saying that the Lopes cannot huddle. They need to get people on the sides of the key. As Eccles goes to the line, and this is her first free throw shooting of the day. Eccles normally a 73%er, and the first one's good. Still can't make it any more than a 2-possession game, but the Lopes running out of opportunities. 51.1 seconds left. Next free throw's not good, and this time the Lopes are able to box out. And they will call a timeout, I believe.
Won't be able to advance this one, however.
Nope.
I think that's what Caldwell was
hoping for,
saying to her as they were going back to the bench.
Molly Miller getting clarification before she goes into the Lopes huddle. And the referees making sure that they are all on the same page before they send everybody to go diagram plays. Well, again, if you've enjoyed this kind of excitement, this is only game 1 of 4 this week. Tonight, 6:30 with the pregame show on Fox 10 Extra, 6:45 with the radio pregame show on 1580 The Fanatic, and 99.3 FM for Bryce Drew's GCU men's basketball team hosting Bethesda. Then it all gets going again tomorrow. The Lopes and Bethesda in men's basketball at 2 o'clock, and these same 2 teams in another battle at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. You can catch them all right here on GCU TV, but you can also catch the men's games on Fox 10 Extra. Barry Butel's, Scott Williams, Kate Longworth, and also on 1580 The Fanatic and 99.3 FM with Paul Coro and myself.
And you know what? We've talked about the rebounding margin pretty much for the majority of the second half. It's now a plus 17 for New Mexico State at 47-30, but the offensive rebounds, 23 offensive rebounds for the Aggies here this afternoon.
And especially a lot of those coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter and down the stretch here in OT when the Lopes needed to box out on missed free throws and couldn't come up with it. And both of these teams rather even size-wise. I mean, you look at their teams, Katie Scott, yes, is the tallest player on the floor at 6'2", but when you look at the Aggies, and they've got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different players that are 6 feet or taller, and they have used them well. All right, 49.4 seconds to go. Katie Scott will inbound in the backcourt. Scott, Pieta, Jackson, Tierra Brown, and Caldwell. Pieta off for Jackson. Jackson fumbles, gets it for Scott. Scott will drive. She will put it up. Shot will not go. Late whistle. Offensive foul.
That's a blocking foul.
And that may just slam the door.
She slid underneath of Katie Scott that time, and that's what Coach Miller's saying over there. But that was a block. There have been a lot of close calls on those today, Jim, but that was a clear block from up here.
So the Aggies will have it, 37.6 left. Lopes need a steal or a foul, and Lotta Pieta's afternoon has just ended. She will check out of the ball game as she commits her 5th personal foul with 36.8 seconds to go. Pieta fouls out unofficially with 11 points. And now 4 different players have fouled out of the game, 3 of them for New Mexico State. But it looks like the Aggies are going to get out of here with a hard-fought victory. Eccles at the line. A pair of free throws would make this extremely dim for the Lopes and make it a 3-possession game. First free throw's good. Eccles with only 4 points in the first 4 quarters. 6 points here in the overtime, makes them both 7-point Aggies lead. And Brooke Atkinson is going to call her final timeout, I believe, or is Molly Miller going to call this timeout? Apparently she is. So it is a full timeout. We'll step away. 36.8 seconds left in overtime. New Mexico State 60, GCU 53, right here on GCU TV.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain, with the sauce. The sauce, it gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... Whew, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's... Yeah, Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Lopes scored the first points of overtime, but they have been outscored since then 11-2 by this scrappy Aggies team. We have seen 9 ties and 8 lead changes, but the last lead change was at 51 apiece, and the Aggies have not looked back, scoring 9 of the last 11 points. It's a 7-point Aggie lead. Lopes will have the ball in their front court. Molly Miller now out of timeouts. Aggies still with 1 left. Tiana Brown will inbound. Does so to Taylor Caldwell. Lopes now need to start looking for threes. They lob it inside. It's poked away. Aggies are going to steal it, and the Aggies are going to win this one to start off WAC play. Tiara Brown will foul Tolovalu in the backcourt, and that will send Brown to the bench with her 5th personal foul. And with 29.5 seconds to go, the Aggies with a big win, considering they came into this game 2-5 and had not gotten on the floor for over 2 weeks.
Yeah, don't let that 2-5 record fool you, Jim. These Aggies are very good. They're still the defending conference champions because there was no championship game played last year, and
Correct.
they won 5 straight regular season titles from 14 through 2019.
And Atkinson responsible for part of that 5-year run. Eccles makes one, misses one. Scott able to get the rebound. Lopes have got to hurry, trailing by 8. Here's Brown to Caldwell. Caldwell will back away. She'll fire a 3. That one won't go. Eccles has the rebound. Taylor Grays goes into the front court. The Lopes are going to call off the Dogs, and New Mexico State will protect their home court, so to speak, as they are able to outscore the Lopes 12-4 in the overtime session and send the Lopes to only their 2nd loss of the season in 10 games. And remember, we got to do this all over again in just over 24 hours. Final score here from GCU Arena in a road game and the WAC in the road game for the Lopes and a WAC conference opener for both teams. The Aggies of New Mexico State University 61 and the Lopes of Grand Canyon University 53. And even though it's a disappointing loss for the Lopes, we got to honor our player of the game because a lot of great performances in 45 minutes of work. Even though Katie Scott only 9 points today, but she still came in with 6 rebounds and was 7 for 10 from the free throw line, all of those coming after halftime to try and keep the Lopes in it. And a big game from Lada Pieta. Pieta with 11 points before she fouled out of the ball game. But Kyle Borg, I think it's a pretty clear cut who is our player of the game.
Taylor Caldwell, 19 points on 8 of 14 shooting. 3 big triples for her, 4 rebounds, a block, and 3 steals, which she's averaging just about 3 steals a game, too. Leads the Western Athletic Conference in steals per game. But Taylor Caldwell kept this Lopes team in it, sparked the runs to get them back in it when they were down 8 and 9 points, respectively, in both. Took control of the reins with Piera struggling to handle the ball a little bit. She had 6 turnovers, and with Katie Scott just having those 4 shots from the floor, somebody else needed to step up, and it was Taylor Caldwell today, and she did a heck of a job doing that. Again, 19 points for TC, and we are in for a good one again tomorrow, because you know this Lopes team, that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth for the next 24 hours.
Well, and the bench scoring was really not that non-existent for the Lopes. Tiara Brown only 6 points, Tiana Brown with 2. But it was the bench scoring that really made the difference for New Mexico State, led by Taylor Grays, who had only 3 points at halftime, and she winds up leading the Aggies and all scorers for that matter, or I should say leading the Aggies in scoring with 16 points. Aaliyah Prince with 12 points, their leading scorer on the season, but she fouled out of the ball game late in the 4th quarter, and then a huge overtime period for Dee Dee Eccles. She had only 4 points before the overtime session. She winds up with 11 and making some big free throws down the stretch when nobody from either team could make free throws themselves.
Yeah, free throw shooting not a strong suit for either of these two teams, and it showed late. But you mentioned just those stat lines for New Mexico State, and the offensive rebounds killed the Lopes tonight, and you know they're going to go in, make those adjustments, come back tomorrow. But another big shout out Laura Pierre, 43 minutes played for her tonight out of the 45. She did not take a seat until she fouled out of this one.
Well, and we go back, Kyle, to your three keys to the game. One of them was 2 track meets, not 1. And we talked about that both of these teams, because this is uncharted territory, they've never had to do conference back-to-back games. Now you've got, what do you do if you're Molly Miller to make sure that La Pieta still has some gas in the tank come the fourth quarter tomorrow night?
You send her to the training staff and let the training staff really work their magic, because they got a good one here for the women's basketball program. But Laura Piera, she's going to do what she needs to do. She'll be back. She's a workhorse. Those 43 minutes, that's nothing for her. She can do it. It's going to be tougher, though, not having that day off and not a whole lot of time in between. But the Lopes and the Aggies, round 2 tomorrow. Round 1 to New Mexico State. But be ready here on this Aggies home court, or a neutral floor if you really wanted to call it that. But it's going to be a good one tomorrow.
And you saw the glance at the stats, the final stats of the game, and one of the big ones was the fact that normally if you would say that the Lopes were able to force 25 turnovers, you would say, hey, that's a banner day. Unfortunately, the Lopes committed 26, and that certainly contributed to this, along with the offensive rebounding by New Mexico State, with 23 of their 48 coming on the offensive glass. So again, we are only halfway through this conference doubleheader, and we're only a quarter of the way through this big weekend of basketball here at GCU Arena. And we're only a couple of hours away from picking it right up with Bryce Drew's GCU men's team fresh off sweeping a doubleheader to open up conference play a week ago in Stephenville, Texas, against the newbies from Tarleton State, the newcomers to the WAC. And now they break away because their scheduled doubleheader with Chicago State was called off when Chicago State suspended their men's basketball season a couple of weeks ago. They have made it up by going into non-conference play. They'll take on the Flames of Bethesda University out of California. That is coming up tonight with a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can catch that a couple of different ways. On Fox 10 Extra with Barry Butel, Scott Williams, and Kate Longworth starting at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch it on the radio with Paul Coro and myself starting at 6:45 with the pregame show and 7 p.m. with the tip-off. And then we have both of these teams, both of these two sets of teams right back here in less than 24 hours. You've got the men's team finishing off the doubleheader with Bethesda at 2 p.m. with a 1:30 pregame on Fox 10 Extra and 1:45 with the radio pregame on 1580 The Fanatic. And then we will be right back here tomorrow night with a 6:55 pregame show as we get game 2 between the Aggies and the Lopes with a 7 p.m. tip-off. So we hope that you will stick around all weekend long for some great basketball. Well, we want to thank our great crew, Jenna Applegate, Abby Basham, Cheyenne Wickline, Diana Johnson, and of course producing today, Marley Thompson, and directing, Travis Fleming, taking us through not 40, but 45 minutes of great basketball. So, for my partner in crime, Kyle Borg, until we talk to you tomorrow night, this is Jim Howell, reminding you that you can follow Grand Canyon University on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And don't forget to download the Lope Nation app so you can watch all of the live streams from your mobile device, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GCU. Again, the final score from GCU Arena in the heart of the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, in an overtime thriller. The New Mexico State Aggies 61 and your GCU Lopes 53. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and go Lopes.